Nerd could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerd could rise up. It could get elevated.
People of the world,
Nerdcore
nerd
used to
up
be
your
just a
life.
made-up word. MC
If you remember that, you're old. Because it's supposed to be spice up your life.
Like I want to nurk you like an animal.
I want to nurk you
Nurk
like
you
that was
like
going to be
in-
the next episode. So, welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, where we are two 30 to 40 something year olds who talk about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Talk about a lot of
Apparently,
bad.
I can't talk. Where we are two 30 to 40 something year olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and you guys might notice online from the Twitches is Guyver and K-Sig. We both stream pretty regularly throughout the week in the evenings. And with us for the final installment of WandaVision, that guy down there, Justin.
That guy. For those of you who aren't watching this, it's Mr. Justin. He's back.
Hi,
He's back
Hey,
again.
fella.
how are you?
Look who's back. Back again.
Made it through.
You have the best song references ever.
Oh, I thank you.
Like a bucking
He's
jukebox.
saying no, I don't. Oh, I will literally punch both of them when I see them again. You know,
From
in
6
the
feet
in
away.
the post-COVID world, like honestly, I'm looking forward to that when I can.
Looking forward to punching people.
Like both of
again.
us?
Yes, and going back to prison again. You know,
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, the good
Yeah,
days.
where I played frequent games of apparently have dropped the soap.
Mm.
I heard
In the before
popular,
times, yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yes, in the before times, before the crystal crack.
hmm
So,
true.
like Kyle was saying, we're on episode 9 of WandaVision.
Mhm.
It has been a ride.
It has been.
Literally, it has been a ride. Like this show has exceeded every expectation that I had of it because I honestly didn't know what to expect because Disney did such a good job of keeping it under wraps.
Mhm.
So it's been a great show and I have been extremely pleased with it. Extremely pleased and extremely disappointed at the same time. Because now that we've watched this, most of my theories are out the window, but some of my theories held true, but most of my theories are gone. And
Everyone
I am
was
nerd enough to
Mephisto.
admit that everyone was Mephisto.
You're
Oh,
taking that
poor-
really well so far.
well. It's when what was it? I texted you or messaged you Friday morning.
Mhm.
Like, here's my revised stuff. One of them
Right.
was, I don't think we're gonna see Mephisto. So, yeah.
You know
what?
and
It is what
part
it
of
is.
me, like, okay, it would have been awesome to have that happen, to have all these cool theories and things that we had happen, but things happen for a reason, things don't happen for a reason. And I mean, we might as well just jump right into it. Like, there's a lot of pissed off nerds because, well, my theory didn't happen.
Mhm.
And they gave us so much to theorize on and so many things. Like, you go back and listen to previous episodes, we went down so many rabbit holes on different things that they're not all going to hit.
No.
And and we're guilty of this too. I think that if we had our theories on what we wanted to happen, but the show was about Wanda, and this was her story and everything. So I think if we had too much going on outside of what the show was supposed to be about, then it would have detracted from what the show was supposed.
Yeah.
They just
I
couldn't do
guess.
that much. But I have some theories on the bunked theories that I don't think they're totally bunked yet. So
No.
we'll get to those.
And here's the thing. That's part of the fun of doing this was all the theories that we could have. Because here's the thing with Marvel, you don't know. You really don't know what direction. I mean, if you haven't watched the episode yet, we're gonna ruin it for you because we're gonna break it down frame by frame like we always do. But spoiler alert: what you think's gonna happen isn't gonna happen.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah, and you
Yes.
think about just the decades and decades of information that we have about everything, whether it's graphic novels, whether it's just comics, whether it's all of the information that Marvel has had. And so there's so much for us to pull from and be like, oh, maybe it's this, oh, maybe, oh, I hope it's that. And then if it doesn't hit, then we can't be mad because it's, are they going to pull from the past? Are they going to take something directly from the past stories? Are they going to take in some ideas and then make them new from the past? Are they just going to write something totally new? I mean, I think that's part of the fun of watching this, is not knowing where it's going, and like you said, having those theories and seeing how it plays out. But I mean, the level of anger and hate about, well, they didn't do this and didn't do that. You can't do all of that. You literally can't do all of that, especially in 9 episodes. This isn't the Avengers. I mean, even the Avengers Endgame and in Infinity War, as huge as that was, had to be split into 2 long movies because there was so much that they had to tie up and do that, it's unreal expectations for a television series about one specific character to really tie into all of these different things. So I think what they did was perfect. I really like where they went with it. They left some open endings, but at the same time, if this is a one shot, which it seems like it will be, I am very happy with it, and I'll go back and watch it several times. I know I will, because it was good.
Here's the thing with all the theories that didn't come to light. Okay, so there are tons of theories that didn't become true. I don't know. Words are tough tonight, but
90% of Chris's theories.
most of the stuff that Chris said was wrong. So no,
It's true. It's true.
Okay, but just
No.
because,
Most of what I said was right, but the theories were wrong.
right, wrong. Wait,
What?
A lot of the facts that I've given are right, like from the comic, from the lith, from the mythos, but my theories were wrong.
Gotcha.
Let's at least point out that I got something right.
You had all the information that we were throwing out there was all pretty well. It was there, but because it didn't, where people are up in arms on it is because, well, I didn't get everything wrapped up and given to me in a pretty package by the end of this series, right? But we've seen this going back when we're going back through our MCU stuff, which is, we're on like part 7 of the Avengers movie, part 1, whatever, right now. Wherever we're at in that, we're finding, we're like, me, and I think you have, and B Rob and everybody that's been going through that with us, we're finding things in those movies, going back and giving a closer watch, and people found things in those movies, going back and giving a closer watch that didn't have any impact on anything until 7 or 8 movies later. Like, there were things there that, if we would have been doing the same thing now, we could have seen a little Easter egg or something here. It's like, oh, we hope this comes to light, and we would have had to wait 5-6 years for it to actually come to light. So I'm a firm believer that some of the things that we've seen in this series and that other people have seen and that we've talked about, just because they didn't come to light in the series finale, doesn't mean that they're not going to come to light later. They just didn't happen right now. And so we go back, and when Phase 4 goes into full swing, we're starting to get some movies and series and things that we'll be able to do the same thing and go back to this and be like, okay, that's why those flowers were yellow, or that's why Dottie was doing this, or, that's why Pietro, whatever, that's going, I got stuff on that, but I don't know. People just need to be patient.
Well, here's the other thing. We're not telling you guys your feelings aren't valid. I would never tell someone that your feelings aren't valid. Like, whenever, like, if, and I'm going to get political for a second here, like the whole like Black Lives Matter. If someone's crying out for like Black Lives Matter, it's because they feel a certain way. Not crying out, but speaking on it.
Mhm.
They feel a certain way. Who the fuck are you to tell them that their feelings aren't justified?
Yeah.
You may not agree with what they have to say. You may not believe in what they have to say, but that's how this person feels. So you can't tell someone you're not allowed to feel this way. This is how
Oh, yeah.
people feel. We're not telling you you cannot be angry. But by all means, be fucking angry. Get
Mhm.
rage, Hulk rage, throw something if you're just that angry. But don't don't make it so where it's ridiculous though, to where you are bashing like Elizabeth Olsen, to where you're bashing because like it's her fault, or like the Gelfling twins, the Olsen twins, her sisters, like it's their fault, the two Gelflings.
Oh, it's totally
Don't-
the twins' fault, though. I mean, I'm gonna.
It is the twins' fault.
Mhm.
But again, like I said, there's a difference between having your feelings heard and being upset, and then just fanboy raging because I can never pronounce his name, Hemdell Idris Elba, because
Heimdall
he's
and-
black.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Heimdall's black. There's a difference, if you want to argue with us, cool. We will sit here and we will chat with you all day about it.
Mhm.
We love to do that. That's the whole point of this, is to get you to think, get outside your comfort zone. Let's talk about something you don't know about, or if you do know about it, teach us.
Mhm.
But we're not here to tell you your feelings aren't justified, but do it in a productive manner. That's not
I think,
bashing people.
yeah, I think especially within the last, seems like 5 years or so, it seems like the online hate and trolling and things like that have just like ratcheted up, and
Mhm.
your feelings are and your thoughts should not be discounted, but at the same time that doesn't give you the right or the agency to go online and make fun of other people, or death threats like Kelly
Marie Tran
and many
or
other
Raya.
that is just taking it to the far extreme. Whenever you boil it down, it's just a Star Wars movie. Whenever you boil it down, it's just a Disney Plus TV
Mhm.
show.
Mhm.
And I don't get me wrong, if we talk about certain pop culture stuff, like I will go to the grave arguing certain things, or like this is what I love and I will defend it.
Right.
Yes, but at the same time we have to separate reality from and people's feelings and people's if we're associating a TV show with the worth of someone's life, and that's what some of these things are happening, then we are taking this way too seriously, and it stops being entertainment and starts being life.
Mhm.
And that's when lines get blurred. That's when some shit goes down. So
Yeah.
Testify.
yeah,
Seriously, testify. That's
Hmm.
very, very well
Yeah.
put, sir.
Just have realistic expectations about things is really
right.
is where I come from on it. Like,
Let's just-
yeah, like I mean, just even with just this though, there's just I understand being upset. Game of Thrones, I was pissed. I didn't like how things kind of wrapped up, but I was able to step back, and I think that's where people need to be able to do with this. The people that are not
It's a
happy with
TV
this,
show.
it's a TV show, but step back. Like, you enjoyed so much of it. You got so much joy out of it. Even if you didn't like the season finale of WandaVision, you probably, if you watched the season finale, that means you probably watched and enjoyed a lot of everything that led up to it. Just because the conclusion wasn't where you wanted it. And like Chris said, if you're upset about it, that's fine. That's your prerogative. You can be upset about it, but be reasonable about it too.
We're saying don't be a dick.
Wait,
Don't
be
be
Hayward.
don't be a Hayward.
yeah.
So there are productive ways to do it.
Yeah. Start your own
So-
podcast about it.
Yeah. With that, WandaVision
WandaVision season finale,
season finale,
series finale, more
First-
than likely.
but series finale.
Took too long.
It did, but
Oh, it is series finale because that's what it's
yeah,
titled.
it is called
It's in the
Yeah.
damn title. There's not going to be any more.
episode 9, the series finale, which
Mhm.
is it's self-explanatory. It speaks for itself. Really does.
Yeah.
So starts off with a recap of last episode. And then next thing we know, we see the Terror Twins. Wanda's sitting there with her hex powers, in one hand. And then the Terror Twins are getting choked, literally. Like, no, not David Carradine style. They're just getting choked. Kyle's got his hand. Well,
I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching that one.
So they're getting choked. One thing that stood out to me on the very first line of the scene was Tommy yelling, "Get off of me and let go of my brother." Didn't really seem like he was concerned about himself and more about his brother, which I just thought that was just a cool little nod to, like, a sibling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how Pietro pretty much sacrificed himself for Wanda. That's where I think this came from, personally. Because we know that all these are Wanda's projections, basically.
I think it gives a lot more well-roundedness. I'm going to make that a word to the characters and to the idea that, like Vision, she creates these things, but then they become their own. And so she's not controlling them the way Agnes was controlling, or the way that she was controlling the actual people in the town. But they have their own agency. They have their own feelings. They have their own. You can see it caring for the other.
They become people.
Yeah, I really liked that for sure.
And they're not golems. Golems are soulless. They can only take direction. These are actual. They become people. They become visions to me.
Good. Yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
So next thing we know, Wanda is saying, "Did you, my powers work out here? Did you forget?" And Agnes is telling her, "I'm counting on it." And then just the twins try and run, and she just basically jerks them back to the ground. Like you see those bad dog owners, when their dogs are trying to run away with the dog leashes and kind of jerk them back and like hurt their neck. That's what it looked like to me.
Probably works with kids' leashes too.
Yeah.
Those little backpacks with leash.
For any
I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying that the concept is the same.
For any hate mail, please refer them to Kyle at whatididtomychildren.com.
Yeah. I'm just saying the mechanics are the same. It's a leash on a thing, and you pull it, and they fall. Yeah, I've never done it. But
Absolutely.
At least the videos or photos can prove.
Closed circuit TV. So, okay, and then I don't know if you all noticed this, but I think we all agree Catherine Hahn is a very attractive woman.
Yeah.
Not so much when she's in full on Agatha Harkness. Like, they make her face just look so weird to me. Like, I was mentioning that to my wife, like her hair just looks kind of funky, and it's like it doesn't look like her anymore. It's the way they did the makeup, like just something just odd. Like they just made her look like a witch.
Maybe it didn't work for you, but
yeah.
I'm just saying.
He's over contoured.
Thank you. That was it. And apparently worked for Kyle. Kyle's on witchesonly.com.
Next week we do a everyman's guide to contouring and makeup. Just Kyle and I will talk.
I'm just over here thinking about cauldrons and
cauldrons.
Yeah.
So she pulls him down. Wanda hits her with a hex bolt. We know now that is a hex bolt, pure and simple. And Agatha rises up like the Undertaker.
I thought the same thing. I was going to say that when she just raised up, I was waiting to just hear a bell. Just boom.
Yeah, rest in peace. And then Agnes says, listen to your mother, boys. And what I love about this whole thing is Agnes is still Agatha, or Agatha is still Agnes during this whole thing. Just the way she talks and just kind of her little quick one-liners.
Yeah.
That's what I really appreciated. And then she says, now, she tells me to get out of here. And Tommy grabs Billy and they speed off. And then the witches fight begins, and Wanda keeps hitting Agatha with the hex bolts. But next thing you know, Agatha gets hit, and then she's holding the hex bolt. One important thing to note is her fingers are turning black. Do we understand why her fingers are turning black? Because I don't think we do at this point in time.
I was thinking it was a prop choice, or something like that. Since she's using so much magic, it's she's got those dark fingers, and that's her thing. Because since she takes power from other witches, and that drains them out, I don't think it has anything to do with that per se. But I think it's just more of what I thought was more of a wardrobe choice. I went back and looked to see if in Agatha's original costume and all that, she had the dark fingers and all that, but I didn't see anything in the comics about that. So to me, I think it was just a choice, but I could definitely see how maybe the powers she wasn't understanding. Well, I don't know, because at this point she is actually taking the powers from her.
Yeah.
So
I think she's like a living battery, and it's just she's taking it in, but she's still getting damage.
Right.
I feel like overloading the circuit a little bit. There's just so much flowing through, and that's where she's taking it through the fingertips. So it's just getting hex burned a little bit. But that is her thing, to absorb the power. So
Well, and then if you look at Wanda's hand, the next minute her hand starts kind of in her veins. The black starts going through her veins, like her powers are being taken.
Yeah,
I think I should refer to that as Kyle hands from here on out.
Kyle hands, yes, Kyle hands.
So
small and damaged.
Yet skillful.
I was thinking,
it's skillful.
Kyle's Marion. Look at that beard. It's a Marion.
That's true. Kyle is a man.
Well, it's a full beard. It doesn't just grow off the neck area, so that's what enables me to not complain about things online.
And it's not see-through either. Is that the other thing?
Boy,
no.
Let's move on with the show.
For those not watching on YouTube, please tune in to the YouTube of this to compare all three of our beards and see.
Or let's not. We already know who's going to lose this.
Who we're talking about.
I'm just being lazy and not shaving at this point.
Hey, I think it looks great. It looks great.
I'm still voting Fu Manchu.
For an 11-year-old boy.
I'm still voting Fu Manchu. Is what you need to go with. Like, it's there.
It looks great for someone who looks like they went to the barber shop and got some Gorilla Glue, got the sweepings off the floor, and then just kind of doused it over their face.
Yeah.
They don't have to make fun of me. I'll do it myself.
It's very good Scott Tenorman beard. So,
guys, this is good chili.
I'm glad you got the reference.
Hey, for any who are curious later, the Everyman's Guide chili con carne will be on our site soon.
Cool. Don't ask what the meat is.
Justin's tears taste so good, you guys. Okay, so Agatha, Agnes, Catherine hits Wanda with her power, and Wanda goes flying back. And the whole time, Agatha's telling her, give me your powers. I hate even saying this, but I don't. So the whole time she's doing this, because she keeps telling her, give me your powers this whole episode. All I could think of was Agatha dressed up as Stewie and Wanda as Brian. And Agatha keeps going, Give me your powers.
Where's my money?
Where's my powers? Where's my powers, man? Where's my powers? So like literally started thinking of that and just started giggling. But that's basically, she keeps telling her, give me your powers. I know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And she tells her, I'll let you keep this little pathetic corner of the world all to yourself. You give me the power of the Scarlet Witch and you get to keep everything that's in here.
Now, I guess this is probably a appropriate time to talk about, because this is something that I've wondered about this, because like I said, it's going on and on and on. She's trying to get the powers. You think she's wanting the powers for selfish reasons because she wants the powers, or this is the little bit of mentor Agatha that we've talked about, that she doesn't think that she is ready for the knowledge of the
Scarlet Witch,
ready for the powers of the Scarlet Witch, and this is more of a protective type, protecting.
Are you asking
more so protecting Wanda than like we're protecting the world? Because I don't think Agatha really cares about that, but I can see her moreover trying to watch out for Wanda in her weird way.
So are you asking from the perspective of we know what we know? Are you asking from the perspective of 2 minutes, 20 seconds into this? Or are you asking now that we've watched the full episode? What perspective are you asking from?
Let's put that thought out there and we'll get to it at the end of the episode and see. But I do want to talk about that one. So,
because I know what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll pin that one.
What I think at this point, she hasn't shown any remorse for any of her bad behavior. I mean, she even killed their dog. And so hasn't shown any redeemable. And so it makes me automatically think it's all for her. It's all for her power. And she even killed her own mother. So why would she care more about Wanda than her own mother at this point in the episode? So
yeah, at this point, it seems very selfish.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm in the sense that she wants him for herself, selfish.
Right.
So, basically Agatha's saying, you can't hurt me with your powers. Wanda quickly figures out that she's controlling, or she can absorb her powers. And then, Agatha goes, what did you say? Because what was it Wanda said? She kind of muttered something, I believe. And Agatha goes, what did you say? And then, her hands, she's got some hex powers going, and all of a sudden you see the Buick come flying and hits Agatha.
She said, if you give me all your powers, I'll let you keep this town and all the people in it and your kids and your husband. What do you say? And so that's where that came in. What do you say?
Gotcha.
But yeah, one of my biggest laughs came from this scene that happened after the car hits her.
And after Justin's hate for Buicks.
Well, it's just not a superhero car. And walking up to the car, may I point out one thing?
Yes.
I think it's awesome that there's a superhero fight where one of the superheroes is wearing sweats. I really appreciate that.
And it's mom sweats.
So it doesn't have to be all spandex and leather. Like we can have superheroes in mom jeans and mom sweats. And so that gives me a lot of hope for my superhero outfits in the future.
It's hot mom sweats.
There's this huge fight in the streets, and nobody's looking out their windows. There's like witches and there's shit flying around everywhere. Nobody's peeking out and nobody's watching. Like, this makes me wonder, like, is this just like not the weirdest thing that happens in New Jersey that nobody really
It's
cares?
New Jersey. They had Chris Christie as a mayor or a governor.
And I mean,
Fair
they're
enough.
proud. Sure. That's like their show. So that should tell you something.
They claim Snooki.
Yeah. Hey, watch it. She's American treasure.
She's American treasure. So Wanda walks up to the car that's gone through the house, and she goes up, and here is your first Easter egg, everyone. She just sees a pair of shoes coming out from under the car, from under the house, which is a nod to
The Wiz.
the Wiz. Yes, the Wiz, because they got to move on down the road.
Who died in the in Wizard of Oz. It's the Wicked Witch of the East, right? I always get West and East mixed up in that.
Right.
The Wicked Witch, and who's the Wicked Witch in this? And so I thought that was a great nod. I actually laughed out loud whenever I saw that.
I think Agatha did that on, that was that. I don't think that was just the Easter egg. I mean, that's the obvious funny Easter egg, but I think that she did that on purpose too, as like a screw you, like that. That's an Agnes thing to do, is to leave the boots like that, like ha ha ha, and scuttle off.
Agnes is every wacky neighbor with the Ned Flanders sayings. Oakley dokley.
Mm-hmm. Oakley Dokley,
So,
great band. Look them up, by the way. So.
Oh yeah, actually, if you go look in our Discord chat in the music section, Kyle posted some stuff out there for Oakley Dokley. Wanda goes and looks. She's looking around. She doesn't see anything, and then all of a sudden, white vision just pops down. And it's walking up to her, and this look of hope just appears in her face. And she's just like Vision, and walks up to him. You almost feel bad for Wanda at this point. Well, okay, to be honest, I felt bad for Wanda this whole show.
Yeah.
She had kind of a rough go.
So mentally broken. Yeah. Like, I felt bad for her.
It hasn't really been a great week.
No. She wouldn't be on best week ever.
Huh.
And then she said, Wanda, Vision, is this you? Vision strokes her head and puts his hand across her face like the Vision that we know, green and red Vision. Same method.
And in West Coast Avengers 45, there was a scene where she meets Vision, Wanda meets White Vision, and has almost the same exact conversation. And she hugs him, and he has zero emotions, doesn't know who she is, type of thing. And that was incredibly heartbreaking. And so watching this, I was like, oh, is she gonna hug? Oh, and then
yeah.
And she's like, he puts his hand on her. She's like, is this you? And we're gonna get to this part. Hold on. Because this scene is what I call, he said, Wanda. And then she puts her hand on his, and then he puts both hands on her face, and then starts what I call the Billy Madison stay in school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Stay in school.
And every husband has had this flash across his mind at some point. Well, maybe that's just me.
No,
we're not recording.
No, we're
not wrong.
No, okay. We're actually going out. Yeah.
Talking.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
If anyone would like to buy those Arrow beds for Justin and I, we will be sleeping on those for about the next week.
Yeah. Currently a futon.
But yeah, it's the Billy Madison stay in school. Starts squishing her brain and picks her up by the head. And you could hear some, like, not really cracking, but you could hear pressure being exerted.
Good sound.
I was having Game of Thrones, the Mountain Pedro Pascal flashbacks.
Yes.
Just that scene still gets me. Like,
yes. No, that was it.
If he would have put his thumbs over her eyes, I would have turned away. I wouldn't have been able to.
Oh, he didn't need to. And I think the most chilling part of this scene, besides he's trying to kill her and no emotions,
besides that part,
it's just, the Vision we know, it shows emotion in his face, whether he's inquisitive, whether he's confused, whether he's excited. He at least shows some sort of emotion in his face. This Vision is just, there's nothing there. And the most chilling line of this whole part was, and I was told you were powerful. Just, it's almost mocking her as he's squishing her head. So just, it was kind of nuts to me.
Yeah. So if this Vision if the original Vision was part of Ultron, part of Jarvis, part
Mhm.
of Iron Man, part of or Bruce Banner, I guess, and Tony Stark, all of that, then who would this Vision be? Would it be Director Dick, or would it just be void of any?
I think it's void of anything.
Yeah.
I think it's just programming.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I mean that seems like a Director Dick type of thing to say.
It does. Well, I'm sure he told the programmers what to do. Put
Yeah.
murder, death, kill in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fine them 25 credits. Murder, death, kill.
Where's my seashells?
Then all of a sudden, as Wanda's screaming, a flash, green and red flash goes by, and Wanda hits the ground in the Iron Man pose.
But so many superhero landings.
It really is. It really is. And then you see Vision with his hand like dragging White Vision through the asphalt, through the street,
Mhm.
and then just tossing him, and he goes he goes into an RV home and it explodes. And then right away you see what I was talking about, the emotion in Vision's face. It's there. And first thing he asks, where are the boys? So it's very powerful scene, just to really show the difference between the two Visions.
Well, and I started cheering whenever I saw this. I turned into like a huge fanboy watching this, so I'm not afraid to say it. But I was like, "Ooh, Vision fight! Vision fight!"
Yes, and here's the thing. It's
I didn't really see that coming, but I knew it was probably coming, but I didn't like see it coming.
I'm the same.
Especially 3 minutes into the show, I was
Yeah.
like, this thing just hit the ground running. Like that's what I really loved about this finale was that it didn't mess around. Like it just picked right up, and it's a ride the entire time.
Like we knew it was
These-
coming. We just didn't know it was
Right.
going to be like before we even got halfway into our popcorn.
Right.
Well, and I think that all the fight scenes this entire episode was just very well done. Like the
Yeah.
fight scenes kept you interested the whole time. So, which now we know the Visions are fighting a tale of two visions.
So
Is this
Vision?
what's this?
That'd be double vision.
Oh,
Yeah.
double vision.
Like a trying to work in some kind of like an eye for an eye joke, but I'm tired.
I like double vision.
Vision for a will make the whole world blind. Something like that. I don't know. No.
Double vision. That's so good. So this leads us into, now that this just happened, did Paul Bettany troll us saying he's always wanted to work with this actor? Is that actor himself?
100%.
Yeah, and I
That's what I thought too.
said alluded to working with himself or something like that before this episode happened. So, but yeah, good on him for throwing everyone for a loop and being the anti Mark Ruffalo or the anti Tom Holland.
Which is awesome. That's so funny. And then, Agatha, oh, this is awkward. Just out of the blue. Your ex and your boyfriend together at the same party. Again, she's still Agnes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, who are you going to choose, Wanda? And then that White Vision just walking out of the fire with just that look on his face, just send chills down your spine.
Very Terminator.
Yeah,
to me.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, and the conversation that Vision and Wanda have about, Wanda comes forth and just apologize. I should have told you when I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, don't worry about it. And she said, I can fix this. And instead of him saying, yes, you can, go for it. Yeah, he goes, can you? And so even the, person that she created, her soulmate type of thing is even like, can you?
Mhm.
It shows again, he's not being controlled by her. He's having his own thoughts, but I like that in this moment, like she's coming forth and we're seeing that she's maybe not the baddie that we thought she was, and we'll see that in several other scenes here soon, that there's she has remorse. You know, she's sorry for what she did, and what she did to Vision, and you know, unknowingly creating him and things like that. So I liked that they had that quick little back and forth before the rest of the fights goes on.
I agree. She tells Vision, this very determined look on her face, Vision, this is our home. And then Vision looks at her and says, then let's fight for it. And then I love this part. And then Vision just flies off and Superman's off White Vision up into the air. And Wanda goes off flying after Agnes. It was just a great scene. Really was. And then next thing you know, we're seeing some out of someone's eyes through a window. And it's that familiar poofy hair that we know from Monica.
Yep.
And she's yelling Wanda. And then Pietro is yelling, you know, don't wait. What does he say? Don't waste your breath, babe.
No one
Yeah,
can
no,
hear you.
no one can hear you from in here.
Seems like, and he's like, you know, playing the guitar and just kind of chilling, and like he just seems
Might be a little
douchey.
high.
Yeah, I don't know, because he seems like that guy in college that was
That
just
brings his guitar.
to every
Yeah.
party, and like, fuck's sake, don't bring a stupid guitar.
Nobody,
No, but no, that
Wonderwall.
shows
We're
he's
going to hear
sensitive.
Wonderwall again. We're going to hear
Because
Wonderwall
he's
again, aren't we?
sensitive.
Well, I will fight for Oasis to the end of my life. Best band of the 90s. But you know, he's got the beanie, he's got the guitar, he's got you know, all of that. I wonder how much of this is Evan Peters, just being Evan Peters too.
Right. I bet some of this was him.
Yeah.
You halfway expect to see like a Dave Matthews Band and Fish poster on the wall, and
Maybe some fish on the wall, something too.
I thought you were going to say, this is very Evan Pryor. I'm like, are we going to hear Billy past the 3rd grade?
Oh man.
Wad, you should be listening to our show. I think he graduated before you came, Kyle.
probably
Um,
you guys are old. Or
thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I'm a Doogie Howser type. I graduated college when I was 12, so I'm not old.
Not so much he
Yeah.
graduated, he was asked to not come back.
Still 12, so that's what's really
So yeah, he's just literally, he's like, no one can hear you from here. And he just starts playing the guitar more. And just the looks he's giving her. And every time she does anything, he just starts strumming the guitar, like, you know, the dramatic guitar. And again, I bet a lot of this was Evan Peters.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
was trying to
then
really
she
like
tries-
analyze his room and just to see what it, you know, what was there. I couldn't find much really that just like stood out. I mean, there's a lot of wicker furniture, so you know, there's that.
Looks a lot like your room whenever your background isn't on, Kyle, because
Very similar.
computer, there's a window that has like the covering over it, that's some type of cloth covering. It's beads. as
Joke's on you. I've got no windows.
in his entire house.
Well, it's like one of those vans, but it's a house. So
And it's down by the river.
yeah.
So
The beads that there's like the curtain beads that are in front of the doors and thing. I mean, it's just douchey.
well, then if you notice, there's like a shag lamp. There is a mini fridge with a microwave there. It reminded me a lot of his room in Days of Future Past when they first met him.
See that?
And then if you look up, there's the solar system hanging from there, from the top in front of the window. And then there's a tiki bar sign.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very, I thought it was kind of a nod to Days of Future Past.
it
when
had
I
that
first
same
met him.
feel to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably stole all the stuff that was in there.
He probably did.
Yeah.
Well, and then, you know, he runs out with the superpowers and he goes and does the finger flick, which we've seen Pietro do in the comics because he can do it, you know, so fast that the momentum, Pietro can suck someone else's momentum down and redirect it. And that's what he did. Monica goes flying But it was nice she hit the beanbag chair.
Yeah.
So that was
Something that
nice
was
of
there.
her.
Probably
And
smells
then
like
next
patchouli
thing
in there.
is
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
patchouli and Funyuns.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable she landed on the beanbag chair because the beanbag to just space ratio was about 3-1. There's more in that room than really
That's true.
anything else. So
It was that room was a giant beanbag chair.
What probably happened is the beanbag was probably Mephisto, and she
Reed
smothered
Richards
him.
designed it.
yes.
Mhm.
And somehow Emma Frost helped to do something with it, I'm sure. So we can bring in all of those
All those failed theories.
miss, and we'll put it all in that one room.
We're not calling them failed theories. They're just theories that haven't happened yet.
There you go.
That's what I'm sticking with.
Love the optimism.
Yes. So next thing you know, we see the two visions. We see the two visions flying and fighting in midair, which I thought was just really cool how they pulled this off. Because they moved exactly the same, because they're the same person.
Yeah.
And then it was the Wanda Maxima must be neutralized, which is what I'm saying is from Tyler, from director Dick.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, and in their fight, something happened that I thought, oh yeah. He goes and reaches for the Mind Stone to pull it out, and he phases through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think, why didn't he do that when Thanos went for it? So
That's a good point.
yeah, because that was my first thought was, oh, I forgot he could do. Well, then why? Vision.
So my only theory on that is he had all of the other 6 Infinity Stones at that point in time.
Mhm.
Which
But-
that includes reality, that includes power.
It's just
And-
like he canceled out, maybe.
Yeah,
or
it
overpowered
kind of
it.
canceled out. Or, the whole reason that Shuri was removing it is because it was integrated with his neural network, like his nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I get a toothache, I'm incapacitated. If I get a paper cut, let's be honest, if I get a paper cut, I can't move.
Mhm. You
But that
stand
was
up
kind
too
of like
fast.
that. Stand up too fast.
If you're able to grab a piece of paper and phase through it before it could cut you, then why wouldn't you every time? And so why didn't he phase through it? And I was thinking maybe he was so, had so much taken out of him through the whole process of the fight and of having the thing taken off and all of that, they just didn't have the energy to do it. That was how I tried to justify it in my mind. But I thought that was cool that the White Vision tried to kill him the same way that Thanos did, and so
Yeah.
that's a cool callback.
Yeah,
But
very
still,
cool. They're fighting more, and then every time that White Vision tries to go after him, he phases. So he's blocking every time. So they're very evenly matched. And then there's the superhero land.
Got to have multiple.
So, next thing they're flying off, and there's director Dick, just
Mhm.
very, very, director Dickish
Dickie.
in his little command center, Dickie.
Yeah.
They're watching the whole thing unravel, and in comes our favorite FBI agent, Jimmy. Woo! And if you all want a good visual on why we keep doing that, just look at the cover for this Nerky.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Justin changed his name to Jimmy. Woo! The 4 Horsemen.
4 Horsemen. It's going to be Jimmy Woo. It's going to
Darcy.
be Darcy. Probably going to be like Agnes, and then Pietro. That's where they are.
Jimmy. Woo!
do that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
can we say if we do not get some sort of Darcy Jimmy Woo show,
Mm.
I'm gonna be pissed. Like I want it that bad. They are amazing together.
Yeah, the chemistry
are.
together, and I've seen other people call for the same thing online, to where it's they love that chemistry and the back and forth, and so yeah, it'd be cool. It'd probably be more like a a one-off episode of something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if it really takes off, maybe like episode 7 of Winter Soldier and the Falcon, or vice versa. I can't remember what the name of that is. To where they come in and they do some type of investigation. Yeah, but it would be cool. I would definitely out over that.
I really want to see them come in like the Venture Brothers.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Jimmy, yeah, go Team Venture. Jimmy comes in and wearing a Batman mask, and I am the Bat.
Well, technically, that's DC, so
It is, but if
terrible.
we're going Venture Brothers,
True.
Well, Deadpool made a lot of DC references though, so
that's true too.
True.
He had Green Lantern in his movie.
until the end, and fix that.
So Jimmy comes up, and Tyler's just saying, just reconfirm the mission. And whoever it is, Rodriguez says, he says, reconfirm mission objective. His system is overloaded. I can't get anything through. Which means that either they didn't put enough hard drive space in him when they rebuilt him, or literally this fight with himself was taking everything he had.
They didn't download enough RAM to the division. Is what it
They
was.
didn't.
And the hex is still up too. And
Mhm.
I mean, you add all these things together, and you can see how that could happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Really should run your vision on a wired connection instead of Wi-Fi, because it gets some really
2.4.
bad lag with our vision right now.
Laggy vision.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a phone ringing too, vibrating during this whole scene. And the only one who notices that it's doing it is Jimmy Woo.
Mhm.
And then you can see the light bulb go off in his head all of a sudden. And, they're saying it's still ours. And then Woo says, you won't be able to cover this up. And Director Dick and says, I'm not going to have to. Wanda canceled her show. No one can see what's going on.
Gives the old Scooby-Doo, you'll never get away with this.
Yes.
I would have got away with it.
Oh,
No, we'll save that for later. I would have got away with it. There's a perfect scene
you
for that.
pesky visions.
And those
Pesky.
2 kids.
Yes. And then, Jimmy's saying, oh, the sword HQ security tape and evidence of tampering. And Director Dick's like, no one's going to care when I kill her. They'll believe that the Vision who comes out from this rubble is the same one that she tried to bring back to life, which means that to me, when I heard this part, Tyler's trying to kill the whole town. He doesn't care if the whole town's sacrificed. That's what I got from this.
Looking at it, collateral damage.
And just reaffirming that the dude is a dick.
Yeah.
So he's,
That's
I'm not even quite sure how or what his motivation is. Because it's definitely not for Sword, because Sword is not an evil agency type of thing. It's not part of Hydra or anything. And so it's might be setting up something. I don't know if he's a Skrull. I don't know if he's or Kree, maybe even could Kree shapeshift or only Skrulls shapeshift?
Only Skrulls.
So
Kree had cloaking like things. It was optical camouflage though.
So man, I was trying to think about, why would the head of Sword be and then of course I realized I was probably way over analyzing, because there always has to be like a bad guy he's bad. So I came to that realization I was probably just over analyzing it.
And if you guys haven't realized up to this point, we think he's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do think he's a dick.
Yeah.
Solidifying that.
We've been calling him Director Dick for about 7 episodes now.
Accurate.
So, and he's just, to me, this whole scene, he's just gloating to Jimmy Woo.
Yeah.
How he's going to be the big hero. How all he has to do is bring back the Vision, and they're going to thank him they're going to bow down to him for bringing back an asset. And he's like, come on, Jimmy, you could be part of this. And then this was just the most, this is just the most dick line that he said during this whole little dialogue was, if only you had a little more vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think of Incredibles because he's monologuing like none other. He's going through
That's true.
so,
Like Syndrome.
yeah. But I mean, I'm glad for it because now we definitely know what side he's on his own, and all of this. There's no bigger sinister, at least that we can see of a Hydra or something behind this. It's just a grab for power, more than likely.
Yeah.
So our theory about him being a dick was right. We got that one.
Spot on.
We didn't get that one.
Mm-hmm. You can't take that from us.
You can't take our dick.
Mm-mm. It's our dick.
Our dick jokes.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of dick jokes, then Jimmy Woo goes, "That's a good one, Hayward." That was a good transition.
Good segue there.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Oh, that's a good one." And he's like, "Oh, my friends at Quantico will probably have something to say about this, and they'll be here within the hour." And
Classic Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, it was classic Jimmy Woo. And then Director Dick kind of stares at him for a couple seconds because you're bluffing. And Jimmy does the, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to look here. Yep, he does the rock eyebrow to him, or as much as Jimmy Woo can do. And it's like, oh, am I?
Jimmy
Woo. Tyler just looks him up and down and says, "We're done here. Get him out of here." And they throw him over on the bales of hay for his picture with the pumpkins.
Like, they've got all this, like, okay, Dick is evil. He's got
whoa.
this technology.
Some Dick is good.
A little bit.
Little dicks are okay.
But not this guy's a big dick. And,
okay, he's a big dick.
But like he's got
Caucasian vision.
He's got all this technology and all these personnel and everything around him, and like, all right, we're gonna lock you up in the hay pile. Like this.
Well, it's not even a lockup. They sat him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sit over here and you think about what you did. That's what they put him in timeout, is what they did.
The only thing that would have completed this for me was they go, "Okay, Jimmy, sit crisscross applesauce."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many bases with people like that do you know that has just straw hay bales? I mean,
sitting there.
It's like, do they go on a hayride after this?
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna sit him down by the pumpkins for his picture.
Kill a hole at 2, hayride at 6.
You think about what you're doing. We're bobbing for apples later.
We're bobbing for apples later.
The old Sword Fall Festival going on with.
Oh, that goes along with the clowns and stuff.
Oh, we found a connection. Maybe. No, we probably didn't.
The thing that would have completed this is when Director Dick's phone rang and it was
Must be one of the guys on the inside.
Go ahead, Agent Boinko. I go, he doesn't want Vision. He doesn't want Wanda to know what's going on. All right, what's your report? Ha 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 ha.
Take that down.
He writes it with flour.
Like play on Morse code.
Clown Mars. Oh, I digress. All right, now we go to it shows behind Jimmy's back, and he's got a key.
It's a paper or it's a safety pin.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he MacGyver's his way out of there.
And this goes along with Jimmy's magic tricks. I think during the 5-year period, he taught himself all this, to be honest with you.
That makes total sense.
Because he's obsessed with Houdini.
Yeah. Is that where the "oh flourish" comes from? Because I was confused by that too. I was like, I don't remember him ever saying that because he gets out of the cuffs and goes, "Oh flourish."
Is from the second or third episode when they were doing the magic show, and he was watching, and Vision was, drunk off of Wrigley's spearmint gum or whatever, and he's like flourish and does a thing. I think that's where he got that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I didn't make that connection.
Neither.
Yeah.
Good catch, sir.
So he went from Jimmy Woo to Jimmy Woodini.
Jimmy Woodini.
Twice.
Oh, I know another viral picture.
Thank you. I can check out now.
And then Jimmy's phone's ringing. He's like, Cliff, it's Jimmy Woo. Can you get? I've got a situation. Can you get here in an hour? Yes, he was bluffing.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, Wanda.
It's like the whole thing where you go stay the night with your friend when you're a kid, and like, Billy's mom said it's okay, and you call Billy like, "Hey, ask your mom if I can come spend the night."
Yes.
He did that, but on an FBI level.
On the FBI, it was the complete FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Spend the night. So Wanda's floating through town, center of town, which we're all familiar with now. And she's walking, and like, there's people hanging out on the steps. It's all modern times, and it's all our cast of characters.
Yep.
And then the messenger guy goes, "Don't shoot, I'm just the messenger," and he chuckles to himself.
I would have shot him.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
Yeah. And Wanda gets shot in the back. And there's Agatha. Again, goes back to, who was it? Was it Kyle who you said, they're in the middle of this and no one notices?
Yeah. Like, nobody's like, well, I mean, they're still under the influence, but her influence has been lacking. It's been slowly kind of digressing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nobody really cares. They're just, there's a witch by the billboard. There's one on the ground. They're just shooting,
Well, they're still being
hand
controlled.
lasers.
And so that's why, just like with Agnes at one point, she thought that, oh, it's okay to see the boys grow up. Oh, it's okay for me to make this collar appear. She's seen it before. And so I think because they're under her spell, they can, all this stuff can go on and they're just like, whatever.
And
it's just a Thursday. So
it's Thursday. And, Agnes is on top of the building. And she says, you've never been up against another witch before. And I don't know if you guys noticed the background, the billboard. I think that was a clever nod by Disney.
Yeah.
Because it's for squeaky shine. And the phrase is all natural formula using the power of Mother Earth. Wiccans or witches worship one of the two deities, which is Mother or Earth personified.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think that was kind of, yeah.
I was trying to make that connection. I couldn't.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
I thought the same thing.
And here is actually one of the 800 theories that we've thrown out that was actually right. She said, "Do you know that there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the Darkhold? That book in the basement was the Darkhold. Darkhold written by Lilith, written on human flesh and blood. Book of Demons." So
The Necronomicon. Or
You said basically like the Marvel Necronomicon,
yes.
more or less.
But so this brings up another interesting theory. So that the Darkhold last appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. but in a different configuration.
Yeah, it also showed up in Runaways.
It did, didn't it?
Because
But it looked different. So does that mean that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Runaways never existed in this universe? Or does this mean that the Darkhold can change shape? I think it's the Darkhold can change shape, personally.
since they were on different stations and those shows haven't been referenced in the movies or vice versa, and this actually had in even the previously on reference the movies, I would say it's not canon, but that's just fanboy talking. But yeah,
Until Disney confirms it.
yeah, right.
Could just be in another universe. That's all you got to do.
There you go. Multiverse.
It happened, but it wasn't in this universe.
All done.
Squeaky shine clean.
So it was exciting to hear about the Darkhold, though.
Yeah.
So
we get to the end credit scene. I have a something that was kind of cool about the Book of the Damned and all that stuff too. So, but it'll make much more sense in that end credit scene.
Okay, so we'll just make a note of that.
All I kept thinking about, and I know it's probably just not a tie, and it's just more than likely a coincidence. It's just a visual thing I noticed was when she's holding the book and you see the image of the Scarlet Witch there, in the book is floating in on fire and stuff. The way the hair of the Scarlet Witch and her hands and everything it just was very reminiscent of the Hydra insignia, Hydra logo or whatever to me. Like it happened really quick and I had to go back and watch, like, was that a Hydra something? And then like, oh, okay, no, that's
well, it's obviously something if it made you give it a second glance.
Yeah. And it may be nothing unless there's just ancient Hydra witchy connections, but there's witches and Wiccan and occult and all that stuff could all flow in together somehow. Nazis, but
Nazis. And Agnes explains it's the Book of the Damned, and she summons the Darkhold. And I love this part. The Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged. She has no coven, no need for incantation, all which we know Wanda doesn't do. Doesn't do. And Wanda yells at her, I'm not a witch. I don't cast spells. No one taught me any magic. And this next line is super important since we know that what this show directly ties into after this. Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme. I think she's referencing Stephen right now, Doctor Strange. But the time of the Darkhold was written, that was referencing a different Sorcerer Supreme. So
do we know who it was, or do you know who it was then, or
no? Because the ancient one was around for couple hundred years. There was another, there's been a lot of Sorcerer Supremes, and the Darkhold again was supposedly written by Lilith after the fall. So this would have been, ancient times. Theory, that's my guess. But it was at least a Sorcerer Supreme at one point. But I think Agatha at this point in time is referencing our Sorcerer Supreme.
Agreed.
Wanda's just staring at her in disbelief, and then it's so cool because the Darkhold opens to the page of the Scarlet Witch, which makes you wonder how she's reading this because there's no words in there that we can read, and it's just like it's like a picture book made out of human flesh and blood.
It's a very Wiccan pop-up book, basically.
Wiccan pop-up book.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, it's your destiny to destroy the world. And Wanda's arguing with the whole time, I'm not I'm not going to destroy the world. Why would I do that? And then Agatha starts chanting and then points over, and then we see Dottie.
Mm-hmm.
So before we move on, can I
Yes.
point one thing or question one thing?
Mm-hmm.
So she's talking about the Scarlet Witch, and she says the Scarlet Witch is born; she is not is not born; she is forged. So does this kill our mutant theory?
I don't think it does yet.
Born, they're not forged. It's that Terrigen Mist and all of that forges. And I'm wondering if that's just a throwaway line, or if that's something that is said to allow us to kind of piece two and two together. And so this may not actually lead to mutants.
I hope it's a throwaway line. No, you
I
put that thought in my head.
I think it's more throwaway. They're trying to put two and two together to make the story evolve along. That's more of me just wishful thinking, I think, though. That's a good point. So the way I took that line, though, too, was, Wanda was born with the power. The Mind Stone enhanced it, just unlocked it really for her. And it's like the old saying, this warrior is forged in battle. Like what is the saying? The sum of their wholes is the experience of the many, or whatever it is. I think I just took like 3 different sayings and put them together.
You did,
but
I knew where you were going.
It's like, the sum of all their parts is what it is what makes Wanda who she is, and that's how it makes the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like all these tragedies, everything that's happened is what makes the Scarlet Witch.
Okay. So
there could have been multiple born with the base set of powers that could evolve into this, but her circumstances caused her to not evolve, but become who she is now. So she was forged by her circumstances and experiences and trauma. She had to experience the Scarlet. Whoever would be the Scarlet Witch had to have both the powers originally and the experiences and the trauma and all that to become the Scarlet Witch. And so she, that could still leave us some mutant hope. I think
that makes sense. So she did have some probability powers and things like that with the bomb. But if she would never had volunteered, then she might have just had some, weird things keep happening to me type actually knowing. So she wouldn't necessarily mutate, if you will, into a mutant, evolve into a mutant. She would just maybe have these powers that she really didn't know about, but it wasn't until she was forged by the Mind Stone into the Scarlet Witch, and due to these powers. Okay, I can definitely. It's total sense to me. Okay,
that's kind of what I think
with some of the other mutants, and I've brought this up several times, that their mutant abilities and things become enhanced and become stronger and greater once they've experienced extreme stress and trauma and events that just bring that out in them. Like it's there at a certain level, but that just kicks it up another notch.
Makes me
think you see that a lot in the X-Men universe.
It makes me think about Deadpool, though, because Deadpool, the way he got his powers as he was injected with whatever, and then put through all the different extreme situations, and that's how his powers manifested.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm referencing.
Yeah, but then, I'll have to think about that more. So sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. That's what we do on Nerkies. That's what we do on the show in general. So, I mean, it just makes you think. Like I said, it's a good, very valid question, and it just makes you wonder. But that's just kind of how I kind of took it.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, Agatha's doing something, chanting in Latin, and so obviously casting a spell. And then we see Dottie, and Dottie stops. She's walking down talking to someone. and then her little head gets these little glowing yellow veins that we've seen whenever Vision released someone from the mind spell. And then Dottie sees Wanda and then just comes to this realization. She goes, Wanda. She's like, Dottie. She tells her, my name is Sarah. I have a daughter and she's 8, which takes the whole, the witch who I thought it was wrong, but she still could be a witch. Just not realize it. There's, like Agnes said last episode, did you think you're the only magical girl in town? There still could be other witches here. I'm holding out. I have hope.
If this becomes if it comes out that Westview is the Nexus portal or whatever, the witches are drawn to the portal, if I remember right. Like they're just
moth to a flame.
Yeah, instinctively drawn to, like, that's where they have to be at. And so and that would make sense with Dottie because she didn't have any info on the board, if I remember right, which, we said could be an oversight, could be on purpose, could be something we won't find out till like 8 movies later. But
so
keep a pin in that one.
Yeah, definitely keep a pin in that one. She tells her that, I have a daughter. Her name's, what'd she say? She's 8. And she could be friends with your boys. You could tell. So that's a mother's thought right there. She's not thinking of herself. She's thinking of her kid and a way to get her kid out. So we know at this point in time where all the children of Westville have been. Wanda's have them locked in their rooms.
Yeah.
Which is just frightening.
Yeah, they're all grounded.
Yeah. And Dottie's like, if you like the storyline or, the school bully even, and if you could just let her out of her room, and she's begging and pleading. She's like, if I could hold her, which means this whole time Dottie hasn't been able to see her daughter.
The 180 of Dottie's personality in this scene struck me because this is not the Dottie from the earlier episodes that was, high and mighty and really, looking down her nose at everyone else. Like, she is a complete opposite of her WandaVision personality. You see it in this because the other Dottie was selfish and didn't care and whatever, and this is the complete opposite. So I think it's cool they did that.
I agree. Next thing you know, everyone else in town, Agnes is still chanting, and everyone else in town gets the yellow glow in their head and starts waking up. And there's where we see the unaging Kitty coming straight towards Wanda. And Herb and just everyone else we've seen in town, the delivery guy, anyone who's made an appearance during the show is there. Even some people I didn't know.
Yeah.
Cut back to the house, Agnes's house, and there's Pietro making a shake, and Monica's holding her shoulder, so you can tell she got hurt. So that finger flick ended up hurting her. And then, Monica's like, where are we? And he's like, this is my man cave. Just so Evan Peters. She's like, what is this stuff? And then he's like, this is my man cave. And he's wearing slippers, or you guys call them flip-flops this whole time too.
So there, you see more of his room. You see who he is now, allegedly. And I got some stuff on this, just my thoughts, but we find Ralph.
Yeah, because he says this is a place to chillax, while the missus is stirring up trouble, which means the missus is Agnes. Monica looks at, what is that, a gas bill?
Yeah.
And a gas bill and then a like a headshot, like an actor's headshot.
And it says Ralph on it. He's like, "You a fan of Steven Seagal?" And she's still looking, and he's like, "Whatever, man. Whatever, bro." And then it's like,
Chillax and is a fan of Steven Seagal movies. I mean, I really think he is in college.
oh, she goes, "You're Ralph Boner," and this is so Evan Peters, and he just goes Boner and starts chuckling.
Beavis and Butthead style.
Yeah, Boner.
So this is the
It is
scene
great.
that pissed off so many people.
Because
Because
he ended up not being.
Because he ended up being Ralph Boner. But so we got to strap in for this one. I still think he can be Peter.
I do too.
So think back to episode 1. Jimmy was looking for, he had someone, witness protection, that he went to Westview.
And we've never found out who.
Never found out who. We didn't see Peter, Pietro, Ralph on any of the boards. This, if he got the chance to pick who he was going to be, if he went into witness protection, that's a very Peter Maximoff thing to do right there, is to be named Ralph, because he laughs at his own name. His reaction to it wasn't like, "Oh yeah, that's my name." It was Boner. Like, yeah, you got the joke. I picked my name. And so that makes me think that this could still be Peter. Peter would be the one that's in witness protection that Jimmy was looking for whatever reason. He could have stole something because Peter's a klepto.
He is a klepto.
Even though the bill had his name and stuff on it, I mean, I think the initial pissed offness that the world had about this not originally being Peter was really knee jerk, I think, because I think this still leaves a lot open that could be Peter. Just
where's from the super speed?
He's getting it from the necklace that she takes from him.
But is it?
We don't see it go away after this, I don't believe.
Yeah.
This is the last we see of him
No, we
in the
don't.
episode, is this scene, right?
This is the last we see of him forever.
So then what
Right
what
now.
could that necklace be doing?
I think it was just mind control.
I think
That's, I don't know. It maybe he's got his boner power or Peter tingle.
Yeah. I mean, Boner, Peter.
It's his Peter tingle.
But I
Spider-Man
just think
Far From Home.
the way he reacted to the way she said his name really made me think that that's not his name.
True.
That's
I'm sure someone with the last name of Boner would get that their entire life. So when someone says Boner, you wouldn't go Boner. You'd be like, "Shut up." So that makes total sense.
It is a tough pill to swallow right now, but
I think the
that's
Boner
our
will pay off
fanboy
later.
hope. I think the boners always pay off later.
Mhm.
So we hope.
Yeah. I really don't feel that this was a wasted Boner.
Are any?
Yeah. No, we can talk about that after
Only
the
if you
show.
have a textbook in front of you at school.
Pythagorean theorem again.
I really like right angles. So next thing we see is White Vision and Vision fighting, and White Vision's up in the air doing what would you call that? A vision blast from the gem in his forehead that is not the Mind Stone. And this whole scene here reminded me very, very Civil War throwback. Like when Vision's up in the air, shooting off the beam from his forehead. That's what this part reminded me of. And I mean, they're just tearing up wherever they're at. And next thing you know, it goes back to the twins. And Billy is starting to get flashes of what's about to come between Agnes and Wanda and the Darkhold and the citizens. And he's like, we got to go right now. And now all the citizens are confronting Wanda at this point, saying, my husband's on a business trip. Tell him not to come back ever. And I used to try and resist you, but now I don't. I don't even know why I was trying to resist you. And then the most important part of all this was when I'm trying to remember what his name was, the guy who worked with Vision, who he freed for a little bit.
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember either. Because he said, when you let us sleep, we have your nightmares. Mm-hmm. So these people were being psychologically tortured, pure and simple.
Yeah.
First, by getting their free will stripped from them. Second, being told what to do left and right. Third, they can't even have their own dreams. Boner.
That's going to keep coming back. Well,
it is.
Never mind. That boner's going to resurface. But it was like a really weird witch intervention. Like they circle around her, and I don't think she realized until this point how bad it was. Like what she knew she was having an effect to them to some extent, but I don't think she realized how much and how bad it was until this point. Or she just didn't care.
No, she felt that she was keeping them safe. I think she honestly felt she was keeping them safe at this point. She was protecting them. And all these people are begging to be released. And Wanda finally screams, and this power shoots out of her. And the Scarlet power it's a hex spell, goes around everyone's neck like a choker. And they're all choking. Can't breathe.
You know what that's reminiscent of?
Mm-mm.
No More. So she says one thing or does one thing and it affects everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's showing the and that was House of M, right?
Yep, House of M.
House of M, where she says no more, and a vast majority of the mutants all vanish. They're gone. And so it shows her power here. Same thing where she just screams and everybody, because she wants them to stop talking, basically. And the best way to stop them talking is to, put something around their throat, choke them. So that's the first thing it made me think of was the No More.
Right. And Agnes is looking at Wanda. She's like, oh, honey, heroes don't choke people. And then Wanda gets to this realization, and her hex power just goes up to the barrier, and she tells the people, go, get out of here, run, get out of here now. And you see a slight crack in the barrier. Enough where Wanda can get out. Or not Wanda, the people. But you got to remember, they're in the center of town. So they have a long way to run. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, we see the two Visions fighting. And they are just dead even. Fake Vision or Fission versus
Vision.
White Vision. And with that barrier open, we know that our Vision, the red and green Vision, cannot exist outside the barrier because he's a construct.
And this answered a huge question I had in the last episode was, can her children, we know Vision can't survive, but can her children survive? And so this definitively answered that too.
Yep.
They can't.
Because they're getting pixelated and go to pieces. Vision's losing his power. The kids run up real quick and they're getting pixelated too. And they're like, Mommy, help us. And Vision's, father to the end is trying to get to the kids. And he's almost gone. And then Wanda closes the barrier again because she can't, as much as she wanted these people to be free, she couldn't keep it open at the loss of her family. Also important to note that director Dick just went straight in there with a bunch of trucks ready for war.
There's something that you kind of catch. It's hard to catch briefly, like as she's raising the gate, basically, to let everybody out. You see the world is starting to change. It's glitching out. Like she can't hold the gate and keep everything intact. And it shows the movie theater, and as you pause it, like I get the right order for them here. There's some movies that cycle through on the marquee. One is The Wizard of Oz. I'm trying to get back to it. Oz the Great and Powerful is one of the movies that scrolls across the marquee. And then it scrolls to Big Red and Kidnapped. So that works really well. And then Tannhauser Gate and Put the Fun in Dysfunction. But I didn't catch it the first time I went through. I caught Tannhauser Gate later because that's what stays on the marquee. So I had to do some research on that. Justin's nodding his head because I think he knows. I'm hoping, because I remember you brought up Dune in the past, I think. And I think that's where Tannhauser Gate originates from, if I'm correct.
What I remember it from was Blade Runner.
Or Blade Runner, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, keep going.
Oh, well, that's where it just cut off. Stop at that. I did a little bit of research, and still trying to really wrap my head around what the reference is. So if you know it better from Blade Runner and what it's in reference to, I think I know, but I think you.
Rucker Howard at the end has that whole monologue about the tears in the rain, and so basically. And it's from, he's talking about all these different places that he's been, and one of the places was the Tannhauser Gate. And I'm probably saying that wrong, Tannhauser, whatever.
Tannhauser. But if you say it angrily, it sounds more
Yeah.
German.
I thought that was, because the first time I saw it, I was like, that sounds so familiar. And it was one of those things like, that earworm that's just like in the back of your head that's like, ugh. And, but yeah, so I did a little bit of looking too, and it led to that monologue of him talking about the tears in the rain, a classic monologue for any sci-fi fans. But if you think about it a step further, Rucker Howard's character was a synthetic man trying to accept his own death, there at the end of the movie. And here we're also seeing a synthetic man trying to accept his death too. So I think that's why they would put that on there. I mean, that is a deep dive, and kudos to the Marvel writers if that's what it is. I mean, it can't be coincidence. For them
because
to Gate. Yeah,
they had to throw that in there as a nod to, because there's one. I mean, there's not a movie called named that. And then as we see what happens with the visions later, the end of that monologue, all these moments will be lost in time, like Tears in the Rain, Time to Die. Like that. That's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, that totally explains everything that this version of Vision is going through, everything that they've lived through, everything he's learned, all of that. It's literally going to be lost. Well, I'm not sure when we get to that point. I'm not sure if he uploads that as part of what we're going to get to in a minute, but it's basically all going to be lost. So it's a beautiful homage to Blade Runner in that idea of tears in the rain.
Yeah.
You guys did some research on that, because I didn't pick up on that. So I like it.
Well, that's the research that I like to talk about. There's also the 60 other things I looked up that went nowhere.
I'm glad you started nodding your head, because I was like,
this one went well.
I'm pretty sure that, but we didn't talk about Blade Runner before that. I think you brought up Dune, I think, or it may come up in just one of the random conversations, but maybe that's why I had that stuck in my head. That monologue's perfect for the events to come.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, Kyle sent you a text, but you guys keep going for a sec. I got to get some more water. My allergies. Oklahoma weather during this time period is awful for allergies, and I am just scratchy and eyes itchy and
So they
no boner jokes. Just
no boner
I'm itchy.
jokes. Well, no boner jokes while he's
I'll be
gone.
right back.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, we see this long played out scene with, like you said, the trucks going in, all the glitchiness. I didn't go through scene by scene trying to catch stuff because the billboards were flickering. I'm sure there's something there. I didn't catch anything.
It's the different time periods of that same cleaner. So
Okay.
it wasn't different backboard or billboards as far as products. It was the same product, but different time periods.
Different time periods. And so and then we see, the visions going at it. You can see the rip and the hex behind them. So that was a really cool visual, I thought.
Yeah.
Because they did a lot with special effects in this, but it's not your typical over the top Marvel big fight scenes. It's a series. It's a smaller production. It's that 8-part miniseries that you used to watch on ABC back in the days, really the equivalent of it.
Right.
And so then that is another thing that I think some people kind of got hung up on, was this wasn't as big over the top, boom boom explosions and stuff, which it didn't have to be. That wasn't built into this. It wouldn't have fit the story. But you still had they did some really cool moments with what they did. I love seeing the hex being ripped apart, and you just see things starting to fall apart. You have Hayward sending the guys in. Wanda's struggling, to keep everything together. I think I've just caught back up to where, Chris was talking about, but, and then you see the sirens show up. Jimmy Woo's backup has arrived.
Yeah.
Jimmy Woodini's trick has worked.
To mention one thing about the special effects, like I didn't even appreciate how good the special effects were until I started pausing it in the middle of and looking at and looking for things in the background. But things like Fietro, whenever he goes in fast motion, like if you pause it, it's almost a ghost version of Evan Peters in different form. I mean, they go through, it's not just a blur, but you can actually see a ghost version of Evan Peters slowly like running you whenever Wanda is flying, and when Agnes is flying or Agatha's flying, like it doesn't look like there's some DC movies, honestly, I'll call out certain Green movies and a few others, that the special effects are just god awful. Like I'm pretty sure I could knock out some of those special effects. The mustache, the mustache gate, the lip of Superman, and different things where it's just like, God, they did not have any. There is nothing I've found in this, and I've got one of those eyes. My past is my undergrad degrees in graphic arts and mass communications, and so that's one thing that I'm always like have an eye for is, oh, that doesn't look real, that's totally photoshopped, or this is that. And man, the special effects are fantastic, top notch in this.
Well, they had to know that people were going to go frame by frame of this stuff. I mean, and you see that level of detail in the movies too, because you just can't slip that up. They've created that monster that people are going to frame by frame the movies to find stuff out. So you can't half-ass it anywhere, because somebody's going to find it and then they're going to yell about it on the internet.
Right. There's that certain expectation that they've set as well, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
To have such high expectations for a lot of that. I mean, you look at before MCU, before Iron Man and all of that, the Marvel movies were so
Terrible.
hastily put together.
Terrible.
Hastily put together, very much so. You watch any Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie, and it's
Those are American classics, sir.
hey, I will watch them over and over again, but I'm also laughing and making fun of it. Very Mystery Science Theater type of enjoyment there. So,
Space Mutiny had a better budget than Ghost Rider.
and I would say better,
Fight me.
totally better female Scream than
Oh, Dr. Lady? Yes.
for sure.
Talking about Red Scream.
So, okay, what part are we on?
The family is coming back together now.
Okay. Family's coming back together, and all, Sword reaches them, and they all go into a superhero pose, ready for battle pose.
Agatha has sucked a lot of power out of Wanda at this point.
And she's got double Kyle hands now.
Mm-hmm.
She does have double Kyle hands now.
So you get the great superhero standoff. There's you got Agatha flying in the sky. You got Powder Vision circling around the other side, and then you have
Powder Vision.
Hayward coming in. So they're surrounded at this point. Like there's just
Powder Vision.
bad news all the way around. I've been wanting to work a powder joke and I couldn't think of anything, so I just went.
Oh, Powder is a movie. If you guys don't know, go look it up. You'll get his reference. What was it? 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Early 2000s.
John Travolta.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So the visions kick it off. So
Visions
and
kick it off.
And I love where this scene took place too. So you think, we knew that they were going to, once we saw the reveal last week, we knew that White Vision and inside the Hex Vision, normal Vision, or fake Vision, whichever, we knew they were going to face off. And everybody's thinking like it's going to be a big battle. And it has been all the way through this episode. They've been fighting, they've been duking out, shooting, forehead lasers at each other or whatever. But they end up in a library. And this was such a cool twist for me that, they're going to fight it out, but then it turns into rational discussion is what it turns into, and it's perfect. It's perfect for them.
You're right. It's perfect for Vision because that's who Vision is.
Mm-hmm. And there was a great line I thought right before they started fighting, but the family's there in the family pose, and Wanda says, Vision says, "Your mother and I never prepared you for this," but then Wanda says, "But you were born for it," which is just like a fuck yeah, man. This is
literally they were born for it.
Great line. But one thing that I don't know if any of the listeners or anyone else caught this, man, her accent was coming in and out like and I like every time it would change, I would like point to my wife and be like, "There it is again. Oh, there it is again.
Yeah.
There it is again." This is like, and this is one point where the accent came back, and
it came back thick.
Like, what? You can't. I mean, at some point, that has to be a decision, right? I
think so.
Director, the actor, somebody, the writers, that has to be a decision for it to keep going and coming and going and coming. But that's one reason why several episodes back, whenever Agnes or Agatha, I guess at that point, said something about the accent coming and going, I was just like, yes, thank you. Someone said it.
I think our trigger is when she gets extra defensive and families involved when it really, I think that's her accent trigger.
Okay. But I think what Justin's getting at though is in the middle of her talking, it would switch back and forth literally in mid-sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that was bugging me too. It's like, choose one.
Yeah.
So that was kind of bugging me too. So White Vision, Powder Vision, Caucasian Vision, whatever you want to call him, flies down and the visions go off, like I was saying, into the library. They're fighting, foreheads blazing, just tearing up everything. And then I love this part where color red and green vision
Mhm.
phases through the floor while white vision is shooting his forehead laser, and just grabs him by the neck and forcefully turns his head. So he's shooting at, the books, because white vision hates books. He hates the written word.
I did not know that.
He doesn't.
Oh, dang it. See, you can do that to me because I don't know that. It's not fair.
He doesn't.
I would have believed you. You could have just played that off and be like, yeah. And I would have not known you.
Any book he finds, he leaks oil on it.
Mm. I'm not going to believe a damn word you say for the rest of this episode now.
But Vision has him in a, what's that? The rear naked chokehold.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells him, I love this line right here. I am not the true Vision, only a conditional vision. And White Vision's struggling up until this part. I don't know why that struck a chord with me. I just thought it was really cool.
He gave him a syntax error because he was sitting there to destroy Vision.
He gave him a 404.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the philosophical paradox that he poses for him with the ship of Theseus. Just the perfect philosophical debate about which vision is the real vision. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys familiar with the backstory of the ship of Theseus?
I actually am not. So please elaborate.
Small. So basically, the Greek philosopher, the idea of this argument has gone back, really there's no set person who is known to be the one to invent this paradoxical idea. But Greek philosopher Plutarch, and I'm of course probably saying his name wrong, but I always do that with Greek people. I say Socrates. But and I actually looked up what he'd actually wrote about this, so I'll read it real quick. The ship within Theseus and the youth of Athens returned from Crete had 30 oars and was preserved by the Athenians down to even the time of Demetrius Phalaris, for they took away the old planks as they decayed, putting in the new and stronger timbers in their places, insomuch that the ship became a standing example among the philosophers for the logical question of things that grow, one side holding that the ship remained the same, the other contending that it was not the same. So that's the philosophical debate that Plutarch brought up. And man, just like the deep dive of Tears in the Rain and Blade Runner, these writers, they brought their A game on this, to go all the way back to Greek philosophy and just overall metaphysical debates of what is real and what's not real. I did not coming at all, and honestly hadn't seen that side of it. I had to go back to philosophy classes that I had taken several years back to even remember and pull out textbooks and go, wait, wasn't that type of thing. So beautiful callback for sure.
And the thing stopped becoming the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for the backstory, because I actually didn't know it. I knew what the visions were talking about. Right. So, because that's why White Vision says I request elaboration. I just thought it was cool seeing them floating. Yeah. Exact same pose, just kind of whirling in a circle. Agnes basically tries to kill the guys in the military on this next scene. She tells them, there's always going to be pitchforks and torches for us, Wanda.
Is that when the boys went out?
Yeah. Well, she dropped them, and then Wanda saved all the sword military that were just literally about to kill her, which shows that Wanda is still a hero at heart.
Mhm.
So we all have bad days.
Did
Some
you
of
catch
us,
what
you know,
what Tommy did at that point?
Yes, right after here. So she told the boys to go take care of the military. And then Kyle, since you brought it up, why don't you bring it up?
So you
Let's
see,
explain
she eases him down, and you see Tommy use his speedster ability to run. He's grabbing, gear from the military guys.
He's disarming them.
He's disarming him. He gets a what does he get? He gets a hat and some sunglasses and all that. And so this is another thing that's throwing me back to we're not done with Peter Maximoff yet. We're not done with Pietro yet, because this is 100% has to be a nod to which one was it? Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
When they were
when they broke Magneto out of jail and they were in the kitchen. Quicksilver put the goggles over his head,
his eyes,
face,
runs around the
yep.
room, grabbing stuff, puts the hat on. He's emulating Uncle Peter to a T at this point, because this is something that Peter would have done. I don't think this is something that Pietro would have done.
No. So here's the other nod I think that they gave to Evan Peters. If you look at the way he does his super speed, it's exactly like Evan Peters. It's that after image effect, that blur, that the one from Age of Ultron didn't have the exact same way that they blurred his image. So I think that was another nod.
Yeah. I think we can still hold out some hope for Peter.
I agree. God, I hope so. Just because he's such a great actor and he just meshes so well with this universe.
Yeah, he's a great fit. He's a great fit for the Avengers MC for this line of films and things.
So next thing we know, Director Dick grabs a gun and is about to shoot the boys. And Monica's there and she's like, no. And then all of a sudden he shoots her and her eyes start glowing yellow, but you see the bullets phasing, which means she has the photon powers. If you remember what Photon does, Photon has control of all energy. This would be kinetic energy. She basically steals the momentum and the acceleration from these bullets. And so after they pass through her with no damage, might I add, it's the minute they come out, they fall down because they lost all momentum.
Well, and Director Dick isn't trying to shoot at her. He's directly aiming at the children, trying to shoot the children.
Yep.
And I would like to come out right now. This may be controversial. I do not support shooting children.
I've read that about you.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
I've read that about you.
But I mean, that just cements him as the baddie. Of course, there's Agnes or Agatha, but I mean, how much more mustache twirling can you get than literally shooting children? And again, let me just go on the record, not for it. But yeah, that's when she goes right in front of it, and we can see that kinetic, which is really cool. And we also see Wiccan's ability as well.
We've seen her abilities give 3 different colors at this point. When she first arrived, she was blue. She had the blue powers. When she pulled the neck off of Pietro, or the necklace off. When she pulled Pietro's neck off, when she pulled his necklace off, her eyes went purple. And now we've got yellow.
She can control energy in all forms. So, yeah, and she saw the electrical grid when she first came into the hex barrier.
And we get Chris's favorite character show up, because Director Dick tries to just run because he knows he's fucked.
Yep.
Tries to run. And who shows up, Chris?
Darcy in the clown car.
She finally made it to town.
She finally that school finally let out.
Man,
Yeah.
there were a lot of red lights.
There were a lot of red lights, but
Mhm.
she's one of my all-time favorite characters, man. She's just fun.
And she even has a fun line. Have fun in prison.
Have fun in prison.
So, which, sounds like you could give him some tips, since you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, my time in prison, they called me what would my prison name be? I was X-Flax.
Okay. I like that. I was thinking slippery fingers because you're always dropping the soap.
One of the two.
Here goes slippery fingers. And it works on many levels.
Slippery fingers. So next thing we know,
And
we're
back in the library.
And we're back in the library. We have both visions staring at each other. If you notice, their legs are in the exact same. The right leg is back and the left leg is down. Both arms are out with the fingers extended. So they're cut from the same apple.
Mm-hmm. And this is where they have that ship of thesis conversation. That's you got two halves of the same. They have that discussion, and White Vision has that realization that, oh yeah, we're both the same thing. And this is just such a cool
It's
part.
Just a great scene
where colorful Vision imparts. He touches him to the forehead. He says your memory storage is still there, basically, and by touching him, he reactivates. I wonder if he was reactivating.
It was blocked. He said it was just blocked. He said your memories are still there, but it's just being kept from you.
And so and I wasn't even going to try to attempt to pause all the scenes. Basically, you get the full Vision recap in about a second and a half of what happened to him from inception on. And he imparts those memories onto White Vision. You see, some color change. He goes from blue to Mind Stone yellow, back to blue. And his eyes change. Like they're less cybernetic, less android looking to more human looking eyes at that point.
Yeah. Well, and you forgot to mention too that White Vision conceded that Green Vision, he said he conceded you're the real Vision. And
said that he recognizes that he's used just as a weapon. And I think he's starting to realize that he's more than just a tool, more than just a weapon. By looking at Fake Vision, he knows that there's so much more to him than what he's being used for right there. And I think that's why he allows him to touch him, why he allows him to do that, is because he comes to that realization. So it's showing that the real Vision is still in there somewhere. It's not just this robot that's just doing whatever Director Dick says.
Right. So he unlocks his memories, and Vision looks and says, they both have their head the same way and kind of move it. And then he says, I am Vision, and flies out of there. So just all in all, just a great, great scene.
Awesome scene. So do you think this means, do you think that Fake Vision put all of these memories of what happened here in there as well, so he'd remember? Or do you think Fake Vision would keep that to himself, so that way that would be a special part of them and Wanda's relationship?
But knowing Vision, how we know Vision, my guess is he unlocked all of it and gave him a little bit extra, gave him the memories that he has created.
Right.
Just because they're both Vision.
Yeah. Well, and
one's just a memory, though.
Going through and trying to watch and see what the recap is all just from the movies. There was no scenes in that rewind that he put into White Vision from WandaVision. So that's why it makes me think, because it seems like he would go ahead and upload the rest of what he had here, so that way he could continue to live on. So he basically wouldn't die. But my question is, when I was watching this, was because he couldn't remember anything beforehand. So how did he get all of those memories downloaded to?
He didn't. Those were ingrained in White Vision. So when he said his memories, they were still there. He wasn't imparting memories onto White Vision. He was unlocking them, just in the same way he did
his black box.
Yeah.
Okay. So then answers
the same way he's able to do it with the citizens of Westview, when he would give them a little buzz around the head and like, okay, I remember everything now because my memories were blocked.
Okay, so Kyle answered that question then, because he didn't upload anything to Actual Vision, so he couldn't upload the new memories. All he did was unlock what was.
Yeah, so I probably worded that wrong earlier when I said he gave him brain touch.
That's one question I had as we were going through, or as I was going through and watching. It was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to put these new memories, so that way he will be, even this new version of Vision will still be there. But I think it's actually kind of nice that it's not. That's something that really goes back to, again, the Blade Runner, the Tears in the Rain, the idea like once he's dead, he is dead, and that makes the end. We'll get there, but it makes the end of this that much more powerful, I think.
Yeah.
Good episode, or good scene.
Yeah, excellent scene.
And a good episode. I mean, really,
and a good episode. Well, and then we see Vision flying off, White Vision. So
he gone.
This is how they bring Vision into Phase 4.
Just like white men, whenever stuff gets hard, they just leave.
They just run.
I'm done dating them.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Vision goes outside, sees the boys, hugs them. Agnes lands on the roof and just looks kind of disgusted at the whole thing. And then Wanda just does this weird run up that was like fast, but not fast, like supernatural, like movie. You know what I mean? Like when you see like the chick from The Ring come out of the TV.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it reminded me of. The really quick scuttle. That's what it reminded me of.
It was just like I love when she just popped up there and it was just like, you bitch.
Yes.
Like, if she would have said that, that would have been perfect. Like, it's just all serious and she just whispers in her,
gotcha. She does something and motherfucker. Agnes's eyes glow red, and all of a sudden she's back at the Salem witch trials in 1693.
Yeah, the real trials, not the ones we read about. These were the ones that really
happened.
Yeah, the actual trials by witches.
This is literally right after she killed everyone in the coven.
And this is a direct callback to Age of Ultron, to where, how she tore all the Avengers apart by, putting them in some type of hex vision type of thing.
Yeah.
So a direct callback to Age of Ultron. And she seems Agnes, being Agnes, is acting all scared and no, don't do this. But then, just like in that scene where we meet Agatha, and she's saying no, and then she actually is, taking all their powers. We soon find that, she's way too powerful. This thing doesn't really. All the witches come after Wanda.
So you flip the script on her.
Yeah.
And she just gives her that look like, well, should have known this was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a very look. And of course, told you so.
Yeah.
You know, and they call her. I like this where they call her the Harbinger of Chaos. So it's for Poe because we talk about the chaos magic and then all
Right.
that gets brought up. And then we see her like this is where and this is we talked about it earlier. Was she being selfish, or was she trying to protect her, or was she trying to bring him along? And at this point, she's bringing out the Scarlet Witch. You see her crown start to form. It says, give me your powers. I'll correct the flaws in your original spell. So she sees that there were, it was really good, but there were things that were wrong because she doesn't know she's a witch. And, Agatha and Agnes brings all that, centuries of experience.
Yeah.
And so she's bringing her about her. She finally forms her crown, and I'm assuming that Agatha's about to try to power zap her, drain her powers off of her, and we see Wanda break free, and they, snap back to reality.
And one thing that was power isn't your problem, it's knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that directly informs that end credit scene that we're going to talk about in a bit. But power isn't your problem. You're incredibly powerful. It's just your knowledge, and it's also showing that she may be underestimating Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
She, like a lot of baddies, they basically think too much of themselves and think too much of their powers and what they can do. And I think we're seeing that here. And again, that's why I don't think there's a mentor mentee role here. I think she just wants all of the power. And, here soon when we see her say that, oh yeah, by the way, I can't really change that. And it's just like, yep, see, she had no altruistic intentions of trying to help Wanda be the best witch she can be.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants that power. She's evil. She's, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so I think that's what she's really going for.
Like when they bust out of that, they had the battle. Like here's the battle of like it's just a string of continuing battles through this episode. And yeah, absolutely, you can tell that now she's pissed because she didn't get the power that she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to duke it out. And so you see him fly over, and you see I love this when you see Vision fly up, like he's going to go like I gotta go save my wife. And so he flies up, and she pops him with that Hex force field. Basically, it kind of almost looks like a parachute pushing him down. But it's like it doesn't drive him all the way to the ground. It just kind of pushes him away for a few seconds, and then he just turns around and he flies back like, nope. All right, well, I guess I'm staying out of that one. Like he just like goes back to the kids, and instead of trying to intervene, he's like, I'm just going to let her fight that one. Come on, boys, let's go get some ice cream. It was like how that scene looked at. Mom's having a moment. Let her work it out. She'll be fine. We're going to go to McDonald's.
If we're gonna go to McDonald's,
yeah.
I want. Hey, come on in. The McRib's back.
Yeah.
Only if it has the playpen, man. Those things are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they're gonna go to McDonald's. You threw me off on that. I don't even know where we're at now. I'm just laughing so hard at that.
We're in the witch shoot 'em up scene, sky blasting and such.
It's. I know we keep saying it. It's a great fight scene, but these are all great fight scenes. Just very well choreographed. You see the bolts coming out, and Wanda's hand is completely black and dead. It's like
total Kyle hands,
or the Chubb's hands from Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
is what they look like because they weren't moving.
But
yeah,
I like how she misses. Well, she hits Agatha, and you see that's why her hands are turning that way, is because she's absorbing the power. But then she also misses her, and Agatha gives us her this kind of puzzled look, but probably just thinks, I'm wearing her down. And so it's just throwing these hex bolts, throwing these hex bolts, throwing these hex bolts. But it's a pretty cool setup for sure.
And Agatha, yeah, it really is.
And we also see Wanda or Elizabeth Olsen like take the form of her two sisters with the
When she turns into the Gelfling,
yes.
Oh shit!
she turns into the Gelfling.
I wasn't ready for that one.
Well,
Yeah, there it is. I paused at the perfect moment.
There you go.
And then Agatha's taking all her powers, and there's thunder rumbling. Like the sky is just evil right now, and Agatha's putting all the powers into one Kamehameha at this point. She's charging up.
She's gonna Dragon Ball Z that thing.
That's right, she is. She's spirit balling it.
I was waiting for a Hadouken. But
Hadouken! When she tells her, once you cast the spell, it can never be broken. This world's always going to be broken.
Mhm.
You can never fix a spell. And she goes, just like you. And you're like, oh, you bitch.
yeah,
And then she goes back for
we
the
still love you, but you're a bitch.
Kamehameha, and she's shooting blanks.
Mm. So what's that like, Kyle?
You get used to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually pick on Chris, so I'm just trading over to you today.
Mine's surgically induced. We're fine.
Oh, nice.
So I love this part right here because Gelfling Wanda is just kind of, laying there just helpless. Agatha keeps doing a little motion to fire bolts at her and nothing's happening. Then all of a sudden she goes from being Gelfling back to Wanda again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, there's a scene where from Agatha's POV, like she's trying and then looks at her fingers and her fingers start turning from black just to normal fingers. And so that kind of answers what we were talking about earlier too.
Agatha's confused at this point. And yeah, I love that where she just kind of slowly turns her hand. And behind her is a symbol. Who brought that up earlier? Was that Kyle or Justin? About it was towards the beginning, and then like during the fight scene, it's towards the end. I want to talk about this at the end.
Oh, no. I was talking about something way towards the end.
Okay, gotcha. So what we see on the hex itself are these symbols that look oddly the same as the symbols that were in Agatha's basement, basic protection spells, except they're glowing red. So the minute I saw that, I knew what it was. And is one of those, you get the goosebumps and get super excited moments. Like, she just turned this. In a given space, only the witch who casts them can use her magic.
Yeah. And you think back to all those missed shots she had that Agatha was like, but now they weren't missed shots at all. She was throwing using her hex powers to put the runes up on the inside of the hex. And so that's why she was actually missing the entire time.
That's good. I didn't catch that. That's good.
Very, very cool.
And then Agatha actually, for the first time that I could tell, she was scared.
Oh yeah.
Like her face when she was scared and she was going, no. And then all of a sudden, Wanda starts reverse flowing that magic. And all that power from Agatha and the power that she stole and Agatha's power starts flowing into Wanda. And she's like, you don't need to tell me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the crown, the Scarlet Witch crown that formed on her forehead, which was just awesome.
So cool.
It was so cool. And then, did you guys know what was going to happen at this point? could you fathom what the next scene was going to be?
No,
I had a guess, but it was one of those. Is it? One of the nagging ones, but I
right.
didn't.
I didn't think she was gonna kill, because I mean she's still, a good person. She's shown that she has remorse and all of that. I didn't think she was gonna kill Agatha, but definitely getting the outfit was just, man, that outfit. Good Lord. I'm definitely going to get that for Halloween. I think
Why not?
yeah, I'd look good in spandex and leather.
I think so. Yeah.
Meow. So there's the costume we see, and I just remember seeing this, and I was may or may not have been, the excited hit in my wife going, look, there's her costume. There's her costume. It's just, if you remember back in the interviews, Elizabeth Olsen has been fighting for this costume since 2015.
Yeah.
It's just cool that she got this. And I think I think that I think it was a very well earned victory for her, because this gave the fans what they wanted to see.
There is something that I just caught as you pause. And so she has, I mean, it's a freaking badass costume. If you look, if you pause when you get from the shoulders up close, so like a good pause point to really be able to see it really well is like 28 minutes, 6 seconds. Look at the collar of her costume, center of the neck.
Like almost like a choker.
Yeah,
it's like
but
a
look.
shape of the Mind Stone.
Mhm.
Nice.
What was this on? What part?
If you pause, like a good point to pause, like 28 minutes and 6 seconds, you get a really good look at.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
I mean,
that's really cool.
The exact shape that's on Vision's forehead. Yeah.
Which is also technically a hexagon. It's just not a regular hexagon. There's that.
No, good. I completely missed that.
I see that either.
But I did have to Google to see if a hexagon had to have a regular hexagon is going to be all equal around like the hex that she's put down. But technically, the shape of the Mind Stone is still a hexagon. It's just not a regular hexagon.
Right. And this was one of I will give it this, one of the coolest costumes that they have given someone in the MCU.
100%.
Like it's not, it looks kind of like armory, but not being armory. It looks like the classic Scarlet Witch costume, but it's not. It's an updated version. It just looks good.
Yeah. And it's not the sexist version of costumes that you see like in video games where, men have all this armor and women's armor is like a thin bikini type thing. I mean, it is a great outfit. I mean, it's awesome. And it feels to me a couple of, like, I would say Iron Spider in Endgame.
Yeah.
And then I've got a few favorites of Captain America, and then a few favorite marks of Iron Man, but like I would put it up there with all of those for sure.
It's like very complimentary of Vision's look too, in a way. And so that's definitely by design. And they've been hinting at this throughout all the promos and stuff of what it's going to look like, because you'll see little bits and pieces of it. When she's standing behind the TV and you see, Wanda behind the TV, but you'll see like little bits and pieces of it. So they've hinted at it for a little bit leading up to this of what it's going to be like. But yeah, it looks freaking awesome.
Right.
Next thing you know, Agatha's dropping from the sky to the ground. And Wanda just comes ever so gracefully, just floating down. Just this I don't even know how to describe her face at this point. Very, almost like pity, almost.
Yeah.
Best I can describe it. And she asks, so what now? Agatha's like, you just gonna lock me up somewhere? And I love this part. No, not somewhere. She's like, here. And immediately I knew where she was going once she said that.
Mhm.
I think we all did at that point.
Like she could have, I think she showed her, I don't know, was she showing her some leniency here or was she showing a little compassion or was like this the ultimate punishment for her? Like she could have just finished her off and killed her.
Right. I think this is the ultimate punishment.
Death would have been too easy.
And like losing your sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing was, she said it in this speech, this dialogue. You gave yourself this role. I'll give you the role that you chose. No one else here got to choose the role. So now she's forcing this on her.
Yeah.
And Agatha's all about power, all about power over other people, taking their power. And yeah, death would have been too easy. This is where she literally has no power. She doesn't have the power to make her own decisions or to say what she wants to say. And so that's why this is definitely the harshest of penalties that Wanda could give her, is take away the one thing that she craves the most, which is power.
And keeps it around so we can bring her back later.
Yeah, that too.
Well, and was it this part here where she goes, yeah, I love this part. She says, you have no idea what you've unleashed. You're going to need me. Okay, so what we were talking about earlier on, I'm trying to remember what part it was we were talking about. Oh, whether Agatha was doing this out of, trying to be the mentor or just being evil. I'm still believing that she's working with Strange on this. Because, in the comics, she's played both sides, both good and evil. It just depends on the time. But I still choose to believe she's working with Strange on this, trying to get Wanda to channel her energies right because of the oncoming crisis. Because, Strange can see everything coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why she said to me, that line kind of stood up. You're going to need me.
She has this may be a bad comparison, but kind of reminds me of a Loki type role. He's
plays both sides.
He's going to be playing both sides. I mean, she's like a Lady Loki in a sense. She's got her own interests that's going to be her ultimate drive. But whatever side's going to work for her at the time, I can see her doing that to help her achieve whatever her goal is.
Right.
I don't know. I see it as this is her final plea, her final way to try to trick her. I didn't see it as that. I saw it just as this was the only time the entire episode that she even mentioned anything about mentoring or, I can help you. And it's when she knows that she is about to lose all of her power. Yeah. And so I don't think there's any working with Doctor Strange, because I think Doctor Strange would know not to work with someone like her, because she's ultimately going to try to take all the power. And it could be, just like giving the Mind Stone, or no, the Reality Stone. No, Time. What was his stone? Time? Reality.
Who? Strange? Time.
Okay. Giving the Time Stone to Thanos in Infinity War, he knew what he was doing. So it could be something like that, working with someone for the end of the greater good. But I don't see that here. I think it's just her saying, whatever she can to get out of it.
Kyle, you look like you have something to add.
Nope, I'm actually kind of scanning ahead just a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
To get ready for the end here, or the
So
first ending.
Wanda tells her, "I know where to find you," and then she changes her back into the neighbor Alice or Agnes, and she's like a combo of all the Agneses, and she just gives her this, the Agnes smile. It's like, "Hiya, hun." She's like, that's some kind of get up you're wearing. So, like I said, it's like taking from every age of Agnes that we saw.
Yeah.
It's like, did I leave the oven on, or is that just you, hot stuff?
The Flanders, okie dokie artichoke.
Yep, the Flander, and Wanda's like, I hate you, Flanders.
Stupid sexy Agnes.
Stupid sexy Agnes. So
she starts basically decommissioning the hex. Like this part, this was hard seeing this coming, because I guess she came to terms with, like, I've got to end this, and she could have done it, just quick and got it over with, but you just see this impending end coming, and it's just slow, and it's this creeping contraction of the hex happening now.
Well, I know this is a cliched saying, but it literally is the end of her world.
Mm-hmm.
Literally the end of her world. So they walk back home, and it must have taken forever to walk back home, because it's starting to get dark from the square, which is kind of weird. So they're all walking in the house, and like Kyle's saying, the hex is starting to go, and you see everything that the hex touched revert back to how it was.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they change out of their superhero costumes into their, modern times costumes, like modern day costume. Mm-hmm.
Back into her mom jeans.
Mm-hmm.
Mom jeans, absolutely. And Vision's in the dad sweater.
Yep, his turtleneck. Very British of him.
Extremely British. Is that not British?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's probably like 90 degrees there.
Yeah. Well, he's probably comfortable. I don't think he sweats.
True.
And you see it coming in, and she tells the boys it's time to go to bed. Basically, time to tuck in, time to.
I was disappointed she didn't go. The sun's starting to go down there, big guy, or whatever it is. The sun's getting real low, big guy.
Oh man.
And go ahead, Kyle.
I'll say this whole scene with the kids, and like Vision knows it's coming. She knows it's coming. She's come to the realization that these three, her family, that she's created those, and once the hex comes all the way in, like, it's done. Now, I thought at this point that she was going to shrink it around and make it surround the house. I thought that's what she was going to do. Like, the house.
I kind of did too.
The house was going to be where it was, which we see so much the case, which makes this even more, bittersweet. She's not super emotional about it. I mean, she is, but she's not showing it. She's being strong for the boys, because the boys just don't know. I don't think they know. I mean, we didn't know. I really thought she was just going to put a little field around the house, and they're going to, live out happily there. But she gives when she starts giving the speech to the boys, that what's one of the lines she says? Vision tells the boys that he's proud of them. Proud of you both. And she reiterates it, so you can see that something's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely a sweet moment to show that still that she cares, that he cares, that there is actually true emotion behind this. It's not just something that she, this soulless automaton that she creates, but she actually loves and cares about Vision. She loves and cares about these kids, and they want them to know how proud they are of them and how much they love them. So yeah, it's you kind of get the Lenny, show me the rabbits, Lenny. You love them so much, but that it has to end, and you kind of turn them away. You don't want them to know what's about to happen.
Mhm.
And
Basically telling the boys to look at the flowers right now.
Yeah, look at the flowers. And so there's the, talking about how family is forever, and letting them know. And I think maybe more of consoling themselves than consoling the children.
Yeah.
They're trying to convince themselves of this more so than the children, because the children probably don't even know what's really happening.
I don't think they do.
I
Yeah.
don't think they do either. They just
Yeah,
think
so-
if they're going to bed and they're going to wake up.
Mhm.
Like, how tough do you think this would have been? Because, Paul Bettany has kids.
Mhm.
Like, to act this out, like, it was choking me up just thinking about
Yeah.
you're
Well,
putting your kids to bed knowing there's not going to be a tomorrow.
You see, it breaks him a little bit when he's standing in the door. Like you can see it. I don't think that's him acting as Vision. I think that's it hitting him of what this scene is.
What it's like.
Yeah,
It's just-
you
it's
see that look
sad.
at his face.
Yeah.
It's sad. And again, if any of you argues that this isn't sad, I will fight you
Yeah, go
for
hang out
this
with
one.
Director Dick, where you can go.
Good old Director Dick.
Mhm.
Next thing we know, they're downstairs and Wanda's looking at the family portrait of them, which I want to know when they hired the family photographer to take this picture.
It's probably Agnes.
It was probably Agnes.
Mhm.
It was Artichokie Productions. So Wanda turns off the light. She's kind of walking around the couch, and then she goes to turn out the other light.
Well, can I go back just real quick?
Yep.
What do you think she says? Thanks for choosing me to be your mom. Do you think that there is some
Oh, I forgot about the part.
Do you think there's some multiverse piece to that? Do you think that there's, because we don't see them created, per se, like we did with Vision.
Well,
Right.
you can on Disney Plus because they cut it off at PG-13. So
I know. We didn't get to see the scene and all of that come out. And I've heard that sentiment before. Thanks for choosing me. You taught me more than I ever taught you. Or just something like that. But again, the show has so much to it that has to mean something. Thanks for choosing me to be your mom. And I don't think it's just a throwaway cheesy line. What do you think?
I kind of hope it's not,
Okay.
because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, I just took it as a throwaway cheesy line, but talking about multiverse and all that coming up,
I did too.
I could definitely see that. You put multiple thoughts in my head tonight, Justin.
Well, thanks. That's
So
Feeding them in there. Let's get my Magneto helmet.
I'm kind of the same way. I thought it was a throwaway line, but now that I'm thinking about this, it's probably not.
Yeah.
Damn you, Disney.
So I mean, I don't know. Man, now I'm thinking about that. Now I don't know.
well, and that also ties in with the last.
Got doubts.
And so one thing I'm going to bring up with the end credit scene too is something dealing with that. So
Okay. Now we see our, we see the hex closing in. We're starting to get the final moments with Vision and Wanda. They stand at the door, or they're standing in the window,
Right.
and you see it coming. You see it reverting back to old shitty Westview when she first came in.
Old shitty Westview.
Old shitty Westview with near
We'll
a
call that-
landscaper in sight.
We'll call that Buick Westview.
Yeah. No, we're going from Cadillac Westview to Buick Westview.
Oh, that's so good. So, they're turning out lights. Then all of a sudden another light turns on and Vision did it. And he's like, I read somewhere that it's bad luck to say goodbye in the dark. And this is the first, again, we keep saying Vision is more human than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those times. This is a very, very someone who loves someone and is about to lose it all line.
Yeah.
So,
you say when he said like one last thing before I go? How do you say it?
what am I?
What am I? Yeah.
And I loved this part because here's where we finally get the answer to how Vision came back and just what else there is. And this answers another question for another theory that we've had in this. Where was it? If you got it, go ahead.
Oh, well, I think it is where you're talking about, can she recreate the Mind Stones or the Infinity Stones?
She says, you, Vision, are the piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me. Which means she's either... This could be a couple things. This could be the Mind Stone put a piece of itself, left a trace in her. Could be she has recreated the Mind Stone to recreate the Mind Stone for Vision, which is an entirely possible scenario because Wanda she was the only one who could have killed Thanos during Infinity War.
Thor won a-hole and didn't aim for the head. I mean, it's Thor's fault if Thor were to aim for the head.
Thor didn't aim for the head. That T-hole.
I know.
It was talked about, the guys from Marvel even brought it, like the stones, they were destroyed, but they weren't like destroyed. Like they could still exist at a molecular or atomic level. Like they were hyper pulverized, basically. And so, maybe she could pull some, I don't know, some Magneto shit where he able to get the little, metal down to the atomic level and pull it out of, pull the iron out of your bloodstream. Maybe she's able to she has that connection with the Mind Stone that even the smallest little bit is enough for her to be able to utilize what it's capable of.
Right.
Because of her connection with it.
And then, she's like, she told him, you're that piece of me, and then you're a body of wires and blood and bone that I created, and you are my sadness and my hope. So he's the sum of everything she's been through. Mm-hmm. And it really was sad. And she said, mostly you're my love.
Yeah. I like the double meaning of that.
I do too.
He's her love and he's her love personified. So you're like, oh, you're my love, and you're also the the personification, or I guess androidification of my love.
So he's the meaning of her life and he's her inspiration.
I think it's a real look at relationships, because relationships aren't the typical Disneyfication. And this is, something that has always bothered me with Disney princess movies and things like that. The Disneyfication of relationships, to where, little girls grow up watching Disney princess movies to where they think that there's this one perfect person out there that will complete their life, which is complete bullshit. But that's what they're conditioned to think. And, now Disney has almost turned that on its ear with this idea of the love and the sadness and hope. Mm-hmm. Relationships are all different parts of, sadness and hope and happiness and anger and, fear and all of these things. But ultimately all that leads to love.
Yeah.
I think it's just like the line that Vision had in the last episode about grief and love. I mean, again, I've said it several times, but man, these writers are killing it in this episode and
Mhm.
their series. But it seems like they really put their A game into a lot of how they were getting across some of these ideas.
So, again, Vision's the most human. After Wanda says all that, a single tear rolls down his eye. How
Mhm.
the hell does a tear roll down his eye?
Yeah, he might have sprung a leak. Really? Like,
Silicone.
Yeah.
His
Do you?
silicone's leaking.
That's actually a reference to a famous Avengers scene. So it was I read Avengers 58
Okay.
is what that was from, but there's a scene of um, Vision crying, and the text box says, "And even an android can cry," and so it's definitely referencing back to that idea. Um, the I was trying to remember what it was. I can't remember what the comic was about. It's been a while since I read that, but I remember seeing that in the comic and typing up, Vision Marvel comic tier, and yeah, that's what popped up was Avengers 58. So, so yeah,
Okay.
directly referencing back again some really important iconic parts of both Wanda and of Vision in this.
Just a sad part.
I don't think it's sad. Are you gonna fight me?
Yes, I'll fight you for it.
Okay. Okay, great.
throw you into the nerd drone.
So the last thing that we see, the hex hits and Vision tells her, "So long, darling," and then he disappears.
Mhm.
And you see the house rolling back through the time until it's the crappy, overgrown lot with the Buicks. I remember looking, that Buick's still going to be in the driveway. That damn Buick is still going to be in the driveway.
That damn beer.
Well, there goes our Buick sponsorship.
Mhm.
So she puts on her hood on her jacket, just slowly walks over to the car, gets in. No, she doesn't get in the car. I thought she did.
No. She was walking.
She
to the
walks
square.
back. Yeah, she walks to the square where all the agents are still sitting around right now. And all the people are not too happy with her right now that just got free. And they're just
She just set them free. They should be ecstatic and should be happy. Like, oh, here's the lady that set us free. But no, bunch of ungrateful
No.
assholes.
the citizens of ungrateful assholes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wanda doesn't even try to talk to anyone.
Probably for the best.
And she goes straight up. Yeah, she goes straight up to Monica, and Monica tells her they'll never know what you sacrifice for them. And she said, "Doesn't matter. It won't change how they see me."
And her accent is really strong here.
Yeah, it comes back.
Mm.
That's a great
And then-
Sokovian accent. Just, you nailed it.
And then, Monica asks her, no, or Wanda says, "You don't hate me." And Monica's like, "Given the chance and given your power, I would have brought my mom back." So Monica's acknowledging she would have done the exact same thing.
Mhm.
The person that's most dear to her. So
She had a very like her the moment when she's talking about, well, they wouldn't matter, they would still hate me. Don't you hate me? Like her very I don't know, I don't want to be like say like outcast teen angst attitude about it, but I think that's very fitting for the her being the ultimate witch, because witches were seen as outcasts, and I would see, modern, which is like, well, not say modern, but like from the lore in this, like they would probably adopt that same attitude. They're like, well, I'm an outcast, which she is, but she really settles into the outcast role, like right here into this in this part.
And Agatha mentioned that several times. They always come for you with pitchforks and torches.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that definitely supports that idea. So, question for you: she thanks Monica, and she flies off as the sirens, police, and all that are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that she should have paid for what she did? Do you think that she should have served jail time, or she should have some type of
Penance.
repercussions to what she did? Because I know she had to give up, the love of her life and kids and all of that.
You're talking legal.
But yeah, should there be some, we in the world of Sokovian Accords, in the world of all of this stuff, it's yet again, it's like, well, I mean, she's sorry, so it's okay, it happened, which is not real life.
No.
So should she have had some repercussions to this?
I say no. Let me tell you why. Because I think Jimmy Woo is going to fix this to show that director Dick manipulated her into going over the edge. He doctored up everything. He was trying to forcefully cause Wanda to do all this stuff. And he did. He did force her to this point.
Well, he didn't force her to kidnap an entire town and hold them hostage.
No, but that was her grief, involuntary.
I agree.
But he pushed her to it.
If I go shoot somebody because I'm sad and I kill them, I can't in court say, well, I was really sad. And the judge go, you're right. Are you sorry? Yeah. Okay, cool. See ya. I mean, yeah, she was.
That's true.
But she kidnapped an entire town and held them against will. That's illegal. And so it just seemed, I was trying to weigh, like, at this point, everything had been so like real world, if you will, or it'd been like, even though there's hex and powers and witches, and there were real world repercussions. Vision would touch their head and they would come out and be like, oh my God, I have a son, or I'm taking care of my dad, please, and put him back in. But at this point, it's where everyone's just like, it's fine, she's cool, she's sorry.
This could be the catalyst to, if they do go ahead and do the mutant introduction. I mean, this could be the first event, the first catalyst, because there's a lot of
the straw that broke the camel's back.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hate and distrust of mutants by humans through the whole X-Men universe. So and they're usually kicked off by some major event that impacts humans. And so this could be it. If it comes out like, oh, okay, she's a mutant, like they can actually identify why she is what she is because of the mutant gene. If they, other people kind of like, okay, well, now we've got to start rounding up the mutants because look what happened in Westview, New Jersey. And that was just one small town by one mutant, and then you get the politicians involved, and boom. I'm just reaching for anything I can find that's going to bring mutants in.
Yeah,
I think we all are at this point.
Yeah, and so they could do that, and there would be your repercussion. I mean, yeah, if I was a resident of Westview, I'd be pissed. I would be pissed, and I would want.
You'd want some type of retribution.
Yeah,
and that would probably her going to that. Oh shoot, what was the penitentiary, the maximum penitentiary that was in the water that Stark goes to in Civil War? What's the name
40,
of that?
42, 47.
Anyway, I'm sure the listeners will tell us on Discord.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna look it up now too.
But yeah, so something like that, so that way these people know that this couldn't just happen again next time she gets sad.
Yeah.
And I'm not advocating necessarily that she's a bad
The raft.
all of the raft. There you go. I'm not advocating that she's a bad person, because she's shown that she gave up what she loved most to help or protect these people, and it wasn't necessarily her fault. It was her grief. But at the same time, does that make these people that have been kidnapped and tortured every night with her dreams, does that make them feel better that she's sorry? So,
No. You just don't want to be labeled as a mutant sympathizer.
I don't. You can call me Trask. So
Oh, Trask. So that's a good. Where do we draw the line? Where's the moral line?
I mean, us as viewers, we like, good story. She had good reasoning for what happened with it. But if you put yourself in their shoes, like, that's kind of really screwed up, because it wasn't just the few handful. I mean, one person would have been bad enough, but it was like, I think they mentioned at one point like 3,000 people in the town total. Actually,
Yeah,
that's a lot of people. That's a lot of bad dreams. That's a lot of witchery.
The children too. I mean, that's lots of trauma, lots of therapy for all these kids.
That's why Dottie had the think of the children thing.
Oh.
Won't somebody think of the children? We just had a revelation.
Oh.
Won't somebody think that, for the children, She was subconsciously in turmoil and trauma because of her daughter that was locked in her room.
So Dottie was mom. That makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Good one, Kyle.
No, I'm tired as hell, but at least it's something sparked.
So next thing we know, Wanda is flying over the road that leads into town, and if you notice, there's some sort of car driving into town.
Let me go back.
When she's flying over, there's someone driving into town.
Yeah. And it's not like a government vehicle. I mean, there's a little bit of traffic. There's some people moving around. I would think there'd be a lot more panic if everybody just snapped out of it.
Right. So I don't know.
It could be the people coming back into town because she shooed them away.
That's true. Or it could be that, now the spell's lifted, people can actually go through town, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just traveling through.
Travel and commerce restored.
We get to the end scene, end credits, and we have a mid-credit scene. And Jimmy Woo is giving everyone orders what to do, and there's Monica just giving him this, hey, good job. And she's like, authority looks good in you, Jimmy. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. I'm Jimmy Woo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jimmy Woo. And he said, where's Darcy? And Monica's like, something about debriefs for the week.
Yeah. So Darcy skedaddled.
And that's so Darcy.
Let me see.
Of their show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Off.
And then she goes, you thank him for that. And there's Director Dick being let off in handcuffs. And then this agent comes up and says, Captain Rambo, we need you in the theater for the debriefing. And Monica goes in there and looks around. There's no one in there. Like, who the hell's giving me a debrief? And then the girl goes, I was sent by an old friend of your mother's. And she morphs into a Skrull.
Before they walk into the theater, and you guys let me know because I think I saw this pop up somewhere. So there's the marquee again, the same marquee we saw before.
It was a Biz marquee.
Just put your.
I'm just going to end it there. I'm not even.
I got what you need.
Yeah.
You're in timeout, sir.
You're saying Woo is more than just a friend. So we're sticking by everything is there for a reason. If you look at the marquee, you have, we see it planning out. Tannhauser Gate, put the fun in dysfunction. There are 2 letters on that marquee that are in red. You could see it earlier in the episode on the right hand side, what the letters are. Right now on the left hand side, you can see the F is red. Earlier, the F in dysfunction. Earlier in the episode, you can see the right hand side of the marquee and you can see dysfunction. The U is in red. Now, I don't think this is FU. I don't think Marvel's telling us FU. But it could be Fu. Like Fu Manchu, who was a he was a villain, right? Wasn't Fu Manchu a villain? Or it was another name for the Mandarin?
I think it was another name for the Mandarin.
Was it?
Yeah.
The Fu Manchu.
The composite character,
I don't know
Fu
about
Manchu and the Mandarin.
Mm,
Oh.
there you go.
Fu Manchu will appear in the upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 film, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, the Master of Kung Fu.
That's going to be a movie, though. It's not going to be a series.
All right.
No, but it's
Maybe it might be setting up. This is Phase 4.
That could just be the little hint. I mean, it's obviously now that that it's coming, but yeah, there's that.
I like it. I'll go with it. I need another theory to go with now that this show's ended.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Skrulls. I got this one right when I messaged Kyle earlier Friday and said they did an announcement last week about Secret Wars with Fury and the Skrulls. I go, I bet you we're going to see a Skrull in this damn show that leads into this. And we got a Skrull. I'm just grabbing any victory I can right now because we saw no damn Reed Richards at all. I really am excited that we saw the Skrulls though.
Yeah.
Feed Richards.
She said, there's a meeting, and she, points up.
Yep. We heard you've been grounded. There's a meeting.
And so that's seems like directly referencing the end credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home. Because if you remember that very end credit scene in Spider-Man Far From Home, we see that Nick Fury and Robin are both Skrulls, and they say, you got to tell him what went on. So he calls him, Talos calls Nick Fury and says, hey, how's stuff? We gave him the glasses. Things kind of took a turn for the worst. And then you see Nick Fury turn off the phone, and he's at a beach and gets up, and it's actually on a starship. And he's with a bunch of Skrull, and basically ends it there.
Because that takes place after this, right?
Directly referencing that. I
don't have to, because this is just like directly after the unsnapping.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it would, yeah. So then, but Spider-Man Far From Home was after the unsnapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is the Skrull that was in. I don't think it's the same Skrull that was in Far From Home. So it could have obviously been going on, maybe. There's definitely, I guess, a chance there. So do you think she's talking about Talos? Do you think she's talking about Nick Fury?
I think she's talking about Carol.
About who?
Who's
Carol.
Oh,
Danvers. Captain Marvel. Friend of your mother's.
Oh, could be. I didn't think about that.
Because we know Monica is in Captain Marvel too.
It could also be Jesus.
It could be Jesus, Squirrel
Come-
Jesus.
Come
It
to
could be-
Jesus moment.
Up and
They
saying
call him Skeezus.
he heard you've been grounded. So
Mhm.
I'm going with a big JC.
Go- you doing the?
So that JC is now canon in Marvel.
Yep.
You're so full of shit. Okay, so we get to the end credit scenes now, and there are actually 2 Easter eggs on this. I want to see if you guys know what they are. So we've come in real quick, from some drone footage there into this cabin, sitting there at the base of these mountains.
Can I say what I thought this was
Yep.
when I saw it? It's I told you I've been on this X-Men kick for like the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I thought it looked like Lake Alkali.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, are they going to show? Is that what this is? I thought they were getting ready to show the facility at Lake Alkali.
Oh man, I bet you, once it got to that, you're like, damn it.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
And
So
the Wanda and Pietro were born, in an area like this, the Mount Wundagore.
Yep.
It seems like that's what it's supposed to be, but it could
that's your first Easter egg. This is Mount Wundagore.
So even though it doesn't say, location type
Yeah.
thing.
It is Mount Wundagore. You can tell by the cabin, because remember seeing this go, man, it is so Russian in that cabin, or
Right.
Slovakian, or you know what I mean?
All right. So here's one of the Easter eggs / things that I thought of. And I read some stuff that confirmed. So if you pause it at like 4602
Mm-hmm.
in that range, you see the cabin, and she's sitting out front. So the Book of the Damned looks like what other book that we know of from pop culture?
I like this. It
You're
looks
gonna-
like the Evil Dead cabin. Is that?
looks exactly like the Evil Dead. I mean the smokestack. I mean the chimney's in the same place. It looks exactly like the cabin from Evil Dead.
And
And-
go ahead. I think I know. Go ahead.
So Wanda has already been said that she's going to show up in Doctor Strange 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's been said that her 2 sons in this episode or in this season are also have filmed in Doctor Strange 2. But the person that directed Doctor Strange 2 is Kyle.
Sam Raimi.
There you go. So there could be
A
several.
connection. Well, there is rumor that Bruce Campbell is in Doctor Strange 2 also.
I want that to be canon.
I hope. I mean, yeah. Well, he's tweeted out like a kind of slightly cryptic text about being on set, and so he has to be talking about that. What if Bruce Campbell is Mephisto?
Oh, and he has
No, I didn't know. He has to be Ash Williams, and he has to, when Wanda talks, he's like, I don't know there, baby. Why don't you come ride a little bit of the Ash train?
I want to hear Groovy Baby, and I want to see a boomstick. And
Yes,
I will die a happy man.
that'll be awesome.
What's-
Okay, so
He's
We're
just
gonna
what
go on-
it is. It's
let's
just
go
going to be.
see.
They're going to be at the value stop. Is what it's going to be.
and then Pedro's gonna walk in
Mhm.
because Bruce is LFA.
Mhm.
So Wanda's pouring some tea, but it just goes right past her like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you go into this bedroom and look. God bless it. Now it does look exactly like the Evil Dead cabin. That's all I can see. And then there's Wanda in her Scarlet Witch outfit with red eyes, with all the stuff around her, and doing her hex powers, reading the Darkhold.
Looking very Doctor Strange-ish.
That's your second Easter egg.
Mm.
She's reading the book in her astral form. just like Strange was in Doctor Strange.
Yep.
But in the Book of the Damned, aren't those all spells that are evil, or can those spells also be used for good? I mean, it's kind of in the title, Book of the Damned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
I
like
think
Book of the
they're all
Damned!
evil, but the thing is, I don't know if they're making the Darkhold a book of spells now, because it said there's a chapter devoted to the Scarlet Witch. I think it might have some spells in there, but it also tells like history and prophecy, stuff like that. That's what I think they're going with on this.
okay.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, it's taken straight from the Doctor Strange movie.
Mm-hmm.
The glyphs that are floating around and her astral frame. The only difference is it's now all scarlet color. It's all red.
Yeah.
So do you, Chris, still think that after seeing this finale that Scarlet Witch is going to be the big bad for Phase 4? Because I mean, she seemed pretty remorseful there at the end.
She
But-
did, and I still kind of am holding to. I think she might be the big bad, or at least one of them,
Yeah.
because now she's reading and learning everything she can about the Darkhold,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a good book.
Yeah, it's the 50 Shades of Grey of magic books.
This is like 65 Shades of Wanda.
It sounds like a great book.
Actually,
Right.
I'd watch.
I'd read, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
download the Audible for that.
twice.
Mhm.
And then, Wanda's doing all this, and then you hear Tommy go, "Help, Mom, please." You're like, wait, they're gone. The Terror Twins are gone, and then it just goes into Wanda's face, and you can almost see her hand go across real quick, and the whole screen goes red,
Right.
and then it's black.
Mhm.
I almost expected to see, Wanda will return in Doctor Strange too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like how they,
So
do you think the cries support the idea that her two kids were from a different universe, a multiverse? Or
absolutely.
maybe she's hearing two kids like hers from a different multiverse, and she's going to try to take them from that.
I think they were pulled
you think they were
from a
pulled
multiverse.
or they were sent?
I think they were
Because-
pulled.
Because
Oh, wait. Thank you for choosing me as your mom.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't know. I got to think about that now.
I think they could have either been pulled or they could. I mean, I think it's a push or a pull because Vision made the comment, about it's not goodbye and we'll see each other in another whatever. So when the hex collapsed and destroyed them, quote unquote, like maybe they didn't poof, but maybe because of the whole nexus and everything that pushed them through to another universe. So they weren't gone. They just ended up somewhere else. They went through the portal or the travel or whatever.
That's true.
Or maybe they were pulled from one and pushed into another. That way me and Justin can both be right.
Pietro just goes and pushes them through portals.
Mm-hmm. That asshole uncle.
He's like boner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I do know that's the end of WandaVision, though.
Game over, man.
Game over, man. Game over. It's been a ride. I don't know what we're gonna do our next Nerky over yet. I know that it's gonna be Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mhm.
But I gotta see the date on that because there might be be going without a Nerky unless we can find some like movies or something to do.
I think it's March 19th.
So it's next Friday.
Yeah. So there's going to be basically a week in between, and then next Friday it's going to pick back up.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll have no break in Nerkies.
I think we'll have a surprise episode of something Friday, like a behind the scenes or making of or a documentary or something, because I don't see them having a lag in production of
Right.
anything.
I don't either.
It'd be cool if they had they've already filmed several of the what ifs, and in between each of these things, they showed one episode of the what if, and then Winter Soldier and the Falcon, and then one episode of a what if, then Loki.
The what
Yeah,
if
so-
stuff is great for the multiverse stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely all lead in straight to Doctor Strange too.
So, but we want to thank all of you for literally sitting through the Nerkies, which we have decided again, Nerkies are bonus episodes, not quickies.
Mm-hmm.
As the past 3 episodes have taught us, we've got over 3 hours. So they're bonus episodes. We hope you all have enjoyed listening to these as much as we have making them. It's just fun to break apart these and just discuss. So we will definitely, if we don't have a new episode of something this week, we'll figure out something to do another bonus Nerky on, whether that's a movie or just something.
Yeah.
We'll figure out something. If you all have any recommendations on stuff we should do Nerkies on, let us know.
Yep.
We'll definitely be doing a Nerky on the Snyder cut of Justice League, though. Super excited about that one. I think someone else is down there. Mostly Japanese Batman.
Pretty sweet.
So with that, thank you guys and girls very much for listening to us. We really appreciate the support. And with that, I'm Chris.
I'm Kyle, and thanks again to Justin for imparting his wisdom upon us.
Thank you, sirs. I have very much enjoyed the whole Nerky run, so I appreciate you allowing me to help.
We appreciate you being here, brother. We really do. So with that, you all have a good week and digest what we've said and then fight us
And then have a good poo.
and have a
What a
good
great-
poo.
Thank you, guys.
All right. See you later.
Nerdcore, rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore, rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word. MCs shied away from belief. Rest assured.